During a caravan transaction, a GU master saw that he was quick-witted and gave him some pointers, making him a GU master. Because of this, he became the village head. Although he still had feelings for the old granny, they were old people with children, and it would have a bad influence on them, so they didn't interact too much. Although he was the village head, he couldn't help the old granny too openly. He had secretly observed them, and felt that Fang and Bai had good temperaments. They were hard-working and honest children, but their luck was a little bad. Thus, when the old granny told him, he immediately agreed to help Fang Yuan. When you were eating, you promised the old village head. Don't tell me you really want to hoe the fields for 7 days and that cart of purple maple leaves. In the house at night, Bai Ningbing asked in confusion. The purple maple leaves are naturally not my true goal. Didn't you hear earlier, there is a caravan passing through here? Fang Yuan replied. So what? Didn't you mention that there are caravans passing through Ziyu Mountain all year round? The caravans sometimes pass once a year, sometimes once every half a year. I just didn't expect there to be a caravan in such a short time. I've just been beating around the bush. This caravan travels from east to west. Even if they don't reach Shongklan City, they are going in the same direction as us. Bai Ningbing realized, you want to join the caravan and borrow their strength to reach Shongklan City? She thought for a while, and felt that this was a good idea. First, the Earth communication eargrass was destroyed, and they lacked investigative GU worms. It would be troublesome for them to move on their own. Secondly, if they committed a crime, the Bai clan would definitely pursue them and would not let them go. Joining the caravan was a good way to cover their tracks. Finally, they had the breath concealment GU, and could disguise as mortals. The caravan was on guard against foreign GU masters, but they were not so vigilant against mortals. Even if they were discovered, it would not be a big deal. At that time, one rank 3 and one rank 2, they would have the ability to escape. The leader of the caravan was usually rank 3. A rank 4 leader like Jiao Fu was rarely seen. But even if we disguise as mortals, it would be impossible for us to casually join the caravan, right? Bai Ningbing thought for a while, still having some misgivings. Fang Yuan chuckled, of course we can't casually join the caravan. Even mortals need a guarantor. But I think the old village head will help us solve this problem. Bai Ningbing felt relieved, letting go of her worries. That's true, I was worried for nothing. With Fang Yuan's craftiness, how could he miss this point? She thought in her heart. All right. 7 days later, I will definitely break through to rank 2 initial stage. But other than this, I think it is time to use the Iron Bone GU and Jade Bone GU. Bai Ningbing curled her lips, not minding. I said I wanted to use them earlier, but you didn't agree. I have raised them for so many days and wasted a lot of milk spring water. Fang Yuan sighed. Young man, you are ignorant and fearless, you don't know the pain in this. Tonight we will not dual cultivate, rest well, and I will use the Iron Bone GU tomorrow night. The next day, Fang and Bai went to the east side of the village to work as promised. Fang Yuan specially worked from morning until sunset. He concealed his great strength in his body. This amount of exercise was not worth mentioning, but it was enough to make the other farmers look at him in a different light, even looking up to him. At night, he sat cross-legged on the bed, sinking his mind and pouring his Primeval essence into the Iron Bone GU in his aperture. This GU was like a bone, round at both ends and slender in the middle. Its whole body was black, like it was made of steel. This GU was a rank 3 GU, instantly consuming a large amount of Primeval essence to activate. Fang Yuan was a mere rank 1 GU, he could not use it. But Bai Ningbing poured in a lot of white-silver Primeval essence, giving him the qualifications to use it. The borrowed snow-silver Primeval essence was almost completely used up, all of it was poured into the Iron Bone GU. This GU first let out a black light, before melting into a liquid iron, flying out of the aperture and fusing into Fang Yuan's bones. Pain. Intense pain. Unimaginable pain. Fang Yuan felt like his heart was being branded by a hot iron. Wherever the liquid iron flowed to, that bone would feel like it was being roasted on charcoal. This pain was so deep that it made Fang Yuan's expression distort. Immediately after, cold sweat appeared on Fang Yuan's forehead, and in a moment, his whole body was drenched in sweat. After a while, Fang Yuan could not hold on any longer, letting out groaning sounds. Bai Ningbing's expression changed. In the darkness, she could not see Fang Yuan's expression and condition, but from this suppressed sound, she could tell the pain was no small matter. She knew how strong Fang Yuan's willpower was. Even when his whole body was shrouded in flames, he did not make a sound. Right now, after using the Iron Bone GU, he let out such a sound, it could be seen how intense the pain was. GU masters nurture, use, and refine, and in terms of use, some GU's usage was extremely special. The Iron Bone GU was like this: once used, it would cause extreme pain. But this pain could only be endured. If he fainted midway, all his previous efforts would be in vain. In history, many famous GU masters had died from the pain of using GU worms like the Ironbone GU. Fang Yuan clenched his teeth and persevered. He could not endure the torrential pain, letting out a few groans from his nose. In the end, he was in so much pain that his whole body was numb, and his teeth felt weak from clenching. When all the bones in his body were dyed black by the iron liquid, he finally relaxed. And almost at the same time, a strong wave of dizziness hit him. His vision turned black, and he almost fainted. But he held on, taking a few breaths and lying down. Finished. In the darkness, Bai Ningbing probed. Of course. Fang Yuan breathed in, his voice was hoarse but calm. Go to sleep, we still have work tomorrow. Bai Ningbing saw that Fang Yuan was still conscious, but she was actually very disappointed. If he fainted, she might be able to get the Yang GU. But that's not right. The Yang GU is in Fang Yuan's aperture. I don't have any special methods, how can I take it out? Thinking of this, some of her dark thoughts dispersed. But on the second day, Fang Yuan did not get up to work, instead lazing around on the bed. The pain was still tormenting him. Chapter 237. On the second day, it was Bai Ningbing's turn to lie on the bed, unable to move due to the pain. Fang Yuan had mostly recovered and went to the east of the village to plough the fields. The old granny walked into the house and expressed her concern. Bai Ningbing immediately said that she was fine. She was probably tired from yesterday's work and would be fine after a day of rest. The old granny smiled meaningfully. I am indeed a little tired. You guys have been making a lot of noise these 2 days. I heard it all. What? Bai Ningbing did not understand. Miss, don't hide it from me. I already knew. The old granny smiled. Bai Ningbing's pupils contracted. Was her identity exposed? How was that possible? A murderous intent brewed in her heart, but she could not bear to do it. She could coldly watch the Bai siblings being burned to death, but that was because the Bai clan was destined to be their enemy. Although she was proud, she was not like Fang Yuan, who was unscrupulous. She could not bear to kill those who were indebted to her. The old granny in front of her was like this, and so was the previous leader of the Bai clan. The old granny did not notice Bai Ningbing's thoughts. She grabbed Bai Ningbing's hand and patted it lightly. Miss, I can see that no man has a butt and waist like yours. No wonder you wear a straw hat and don't like to talk. Although I'm old, I'm still a woman. We women have an advantage over those stinky men, we're more attentive. Ah! Bai Ningbing did not know what to say. The old granny was very enthusiastic and said in an understanding tone, I understand. You're a woman after all. You have to disguise yourself like this when you're outside. Otherwise, it would be bad if something happened to you. Bai Ningbing was speechless. She hated it when people used the word woman to provoke her. However, she felt helpless against the warm and honest old granny. The old granny smiled until her eyes squinted. Suddenly, she lowered her voice. You two must be a couple. Auntie has heard what you've been doing these past 2 nights. I'm not trying to lecture you, but you have to take it easy when doing that kind of thing. These words were like a bolt out of the blue. Bai Ningbing's expression froze as if she had been struck by lightning. Auntie, it's not what you think. After a long time, she squeezed out these words with great difficulty. Her expression was extremely stiff. Aya, why are you so embarrassed? It's nothing. You can say anything to Auntie. I've lived for so long, what haven't I seen? The old lady blinked her eyes and grinned. Then, her gaze fell on the bedsheet. Bai Ningbing followed her gaze and suddenly felt like dying. But then again, this bedsheet was indeed torn by her. Then, the old lady said a lot of things to her, but Bai Ningbing's mind was in a mess, and she didn't listen to a single word. At noon, when Fang Yuan came back for lunch, the old lady stopped him at the door and kindly reminded him, "Young man, your wife has already told me." Young people were hot-tempered, but they also had to take care of their bodies, and they had to take care of their wives even more. "Do you remember what Auntie said?" "What?" Fang Yuan opened his mouth wide, unable to react for a moment. The old lady smacked her lips in dissatisfaction and helplessness. "You're good at everything, but you're too simple and honest. If you're so honest, you'll lose out when you brag." If Guo's clan, Divine Investigator Tai, 100 Flowers and 100 Lives heard this, they might be so angry that they would come back to life. Fang Yuan stood on the spot in a daze. Suddenly, his eyes flashed, and he finally reacted. "Oh, this matter, hey." He scratched his head and laughed foolishly, nodding his head. "Auntie, you're right, I understand." At the dining table, he saw Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing looked at him coldly, her entire body seemed to be emitting an icy aura. And the corner of Fang Yuan's eyes kept twitching. This matter reminded Fang Yuan of something. Fang Yuan could act like whatever he wanted, that was because he had rich experiences and broad horizons. But Bai Ningbing wasn't, so there was a flaw in her disguise. Fortunately, this flaw was very small. In this world, when mortal women wanted to travel, they would indeed disguise as men to reduce the danger. Even though he was sick of this misunderstanding, Fang Yuan had to admit that this misunderstanding was even better at concealing his identity. Bai Ningbing's mood became extremely terrible. That night, she questioned Fang Yuan again when he would give her the young Jiyu. Fang Yuan could only answer clearly, once he reached rank 3, he would give it to her. Bai Ningbing snorted. She understood Fang Yuan, she would rather die than believe Fang Yuan's honesty. But now, she had no way to take the young Jiyu by force. "When I reach Shongclan City, I need to buy a poison vow Jiyu. 3 hands Jiyu, Grand Snatch Jiyu is also fine." Thinking so, Bai Ningbing felt even more urgency to get to Shongclan City. Other than cooperative cultivation, Fang Yuan's cultivation content had increased by a whole new level. That was to use the crocodile strength Jiyu to cultivate his strength. Speaking of which, it was out of Fang Yuan's expectations that he could raise the crocodile strength Jiyu until now. The greatest contributor to the war was still the Bai clan. It was because of the crocodile meat from Bai clan that Fang Yuan could raise the crocodile strength Jiyu until now. Otherwise, it would have died from lack of food. The crocodile strength Jiyu was similar to the black and white boar Jiyu, permanently increasing the Jiyu master's strength. But before rank 6, the Jiyu master's body was still immortal. It was like a bowl, it could not contain a lake. The Jiyu master's body had a limit. Thus, Fang Yuan could not use the crocodile strength Jiyu before. Fortunately, he obtained the iron bone Jiyu and jade bone Jiyu from Bai Jiyu Mountain. These 2 Jiyu were consumption type Jiyu. Each had their own merits, their value was about the same, and they could permanently increase the Jiyu master's body constitution. The choice of Jiyu would determine the Jiyu master's future development. There were many considerations when Jiyu masters used Jiyu. Some Jiyu could not be used together, while some Jiyu together had an outstanding effect. For example, Bai Ningbing had once used the ice muscles Jiyu, thus her skin was ice muscles. Ice muscles stopped perspiration and stopped bleeding, thus Bai Ningbing could no longer use Jiyu worms like the blood sweat Jiyu. And after she used the jade bone Jiyu, her mortal bones became jade bones. Ice muscles, jade bones, the two complemented each other, it was an excellent combination. Everyone's needs were different, ice muscles and jade bones suited Bai Ningbing, but not Fang Yuan. Chapter 238. You should know, there are many purple maple leaves on Ziyu Mountain. The reason why those people buy them is because it is convenient and saves time to collect them. Sigh, it is pointless to tell you. Forget it, forget it. The old village head shook his head and sighed. Fang Yuan scratched his head, we wanted to sell more yuan stone, firstly to recoup our losses, and secondly to show our filial piety to the elders. But who could have thought that after so much effort, we still couldn't sell them? His voice was anxious, with a hint of sobbing. Hearing his words, the old village head's heart softened, the resentment in his heart dissipating by half. Fang Yuan continued, "Lord Village Head, don't be anxious, we have decided to follow the caravan tomorrow. If we lower the price, we will be able to sell them." "Follow the caravan? Who allowed you to follow the caravan?" The old village head stared at them. Fang Yuan said matter-of-factly, "I saw many mortals in the caravan. If they can follow, why can't we?" The old village head held his forehead. "Those are the servants of Lord Jiyu Master. Do you think a caravan can be casually followed by anyone? What if criminals sneak in?" "Ah!" Fang Yuan opened his mouth wide, stunned on the spot. "Then what do we do?" "The caravan is leaving tomorrow morning." Sigh. The old man sighed deeply. "Forget it, we will help them to the end. Tomorrow morning, I will ask for help, whether you can join the caravan or not will depend on your luck." The sun had just risen, and there were still a few stars left in the light blue sky. Looking from afar, Ziyu Mountain was covered in dark purple, quiet and mysterious. After a night's rest, the caravan was ready to set off. "Check all the goods. Are the ropes tied tight? If one item drops on the way, I will flog you 100 times. Quick, 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 feed all of our black-skin fat beetles." The Jiyu masters commanded loudly, causing the mortal servants to scatter around in panic. Some had a bad temper, holding whips in their hands, whipping whoever was slow. Some loved their Jiyu worms and fed them personally. "Lord Chen." The old village chief bowed and saluted one of the deputy leaders of the caravan. "Oh, old Zhong, I'm busy. If you have something to say, say it." This Jiyu master Chen said. "It's like this, I have 2 juniors who are doing some small business." Before the old village head finished speaking, Chen Jiyu master suddenly shouted, "Chen Xin, what are you doing?" He hurriedly went to feed Serpent Wing. "Do you expect those servants to feed you well? That winged serpent of yours has already swallowed 3 servants these days." "Yes, Master Elder." Chen Xin shrugged his head as he was caught. Chen Jiyu master did not let him off, reprimanding, "How many times have I told you to call me old lord in the village, but in the caravan, you have to call me vice leader." "Yes, yes, yes, vice leader." Chen Xin replied and flew away. "That rascal." Chen Jiyu master grumbled angrily, turning towards the old village head. "What did you say just now?" "Oh. You want to guarantee that the 2 juniors will join the caravan?" "Lord is wise, that's right." The old village head quickly replied. "Is that so?" Chen Jiyu master purposely muttered to himself. The old village head was turned into a Jiyu master by him. It was to place one of his own people in this place where the caravan had to pass through. When the caravan travels, those villages are the focal points of the trade, but the mortal villages along the way cannot be neglected. They are also very important. There are many people in the caravan, a lot of daily necessities have to be replenished along the way. There are also the servants. When the caravan encounters danger and some servants die, lacking manpower, the caravan would have to choose mortals from the villages along the way. Speaking of which, Chen Jiyu master's servants were already insufficient. In the caravan, mortals' lives were cheap, they were just expendable resources that could be used to speak and move around. In the future, when I pass through Ziyu Mountain, I will still need old Zhong. If I don't agree, wouldn't I disappoint him? Coincidentally, I am also lacking manpower, but I cannot agree so easily. I need to weigh the pros and cons before I can sell them well. Just as Chen Jiyu master was thinking, a messenger Jiyu master of the caravan ran over. He held a stack of paper in his hand, shouting as he ran, "Pay attention, a new arrest warrant, there is a new arrest warrant." As he shouted, he placed the paper on a black-skin fat beetle's body. "New arrest warrant? Which family? How much is the reward? Let me see." Chen Jiyu master was interested. "Yes, vice leader." The messenger Jiyu master quickly handed over a piece of paper. Chen Jiyu master looked at it. "Oh, it is the Bai clan's arrest warrant. As long as the information is correct, it will be 1,000 yuan stone. So high." Chen Jiyu master's eyes brightened, he was interested. There were usually 2 prices on the arrest warrant, One was the information price, and the other was the price to haggle. The price of 1,000 prime-val stones was usually for those devil Dao people who had made a name for themselves. However, the portraits on this wanted poster were of two young people. Both of them had good facial features, and one of them was even very beautiful. A man and a woman, these were two newbies. One is a rank 1 GU master, the other is rank 3. The information price is 1,000 yuan stone, and the haggle price is 5,800. TSK, it seems Bai clan hates these two demonic scoundrels to the core. Hee hee. Chen GU master laughed in Schadenfreude. It was not Chen clan anyway. He had no idea that these two demonic scoundrels were already near him. The old village head also took a look at the arrest warrant, his heart shuddering. The world of GU masters is really dangerous. Such a beautiful young man is actually a criminal or a demon. Let's hope they won't come to our village. Alright, seeing that you have worked so hard for so many years, I will agree to your request. Chen GU master said. Ah, thank you Lord. Lord, I will call them over now. The old village head was overjoyed. Chen GU master waved his hand. No need, I am very busy. Tell them to report to Chen Xin. He had no interest in meeting these two mortals. At the same time, he did not associate the person in front of him with the arrest warrant in his hand. After all, this was the Bai clan's arrest warrant, and the Bai clan village was thousands of li away. Chen GU master subconsciously felt that his side was very safe. This was a very common thought process. Even in modern Earth, when a murder happened in a provincial capital, no matter how vicious it was, people from other provincial capitals would not feel too much danger. Even with modern transportation. Besides this, there was also the wishful thinking. In this boundless world, there are countless living beings. Why did these two scoundrels escape to my place? Then my luck is too bad. This is impossible. People always feel that unfortunate things will not happen to them. Furthermore, there were many arrest warrants. Many of them were demonic path leaders, either vicious or eccentric, attracting everyone's attention. Like Fang and Bai, these two newbies, one rank 3 and one rank 1, what could they achieve? When Chen Xin saw Fang and Bai, he did not associate them with the arrest warrant at all. Fang and Bai's appearances had changed greatly. Not mentioning the disfigured Fang Yuan, Bai Ningbing also looked presentable after these days of practice. Chen Xin lost interest at first glance, especially when he saw Fang Yuan's appearance, which made him feel even more disgusted. He was only a rank 1, while Fang Yuan had advanced to rank 2 a few days ago. Chen Xin hurriedly identified them, but did not feel any GU master aura, so he called an old butler and asked him to arrange Fang and Bai's work. What are your names? The old butler asked. At this time, someone finally asked for their names. I am Hei Tu, my wife is Bai Yun. Fang Yuan casually said. Female? The old butler turned around and frowned. He stared at Bai Ningbing, looking at her dark and swarthy appearance. She was actually called Bai Yun? This Hei Tu was really ugly. Women are troublesome. You guys have to be careful. If something happens, don't blame me for not warning you. The old butler said. I know. I have a cart with purple maple leaves on it. My wife will stay on the cart and take care of the goods. We don't want to interact with others. Fang Yuan said. Good that you know. The old butler arranged for them to unload the goods. But to Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing, it was simply not worth mentioning. Bai Ningbing, on the other hand, had to pretend to be out of breath and was somewhat tired. Not far away, a few servants took the chance to slack off and sat around to rest. Everyone's gazes were fixed on Fang and Bai. Brother Chong, there are two newcomers. Someone saw that they even brought their own goods. That is a cart full of purple maple leaves. A skinny servant said excitedly. Exploiting newcomers that had just joined was the custom of the old caravan. Brother Chong squatted on the ground and squinted his eyes. I saw it. Skinny monkey, go test them first. His physique was robust like an ox, with well-developed chest muscles, but he was not rash. In this world where GU masters were revered, the bravery of mortals was not worth mentioning. To be able to become the center of this small circle, he naturally had some intelligence. Skinny monkey sighed and walked to Fang Yuan's side under everyone's gaze. Brother, Where did you come from? Everyone calls me Brother Monkey. In the future when we work together, we need to take care of each other. Skinny Monkey smiled. Fang Yuan glanced at him and said only one word. Scram. Skinny Monkey's eyes widened and showed an angry expression. Fang Yuan did not look at him and continued to move the goods. He had been in a caravan in his previous life and was very clear of the filth involved. In slang, Skinny Monkey was stepping on the plate. He first used words to probe Fang Yuan's background. If he did not have any background, then he would gang up and bully him, exploiting him for some benefits. In fact, not only mortals, even GU masters were the same, just that most of them looked more elegant when they ate. Venturing alone was to fight with wild beasts. Moving in groups was to fight with their own kind. Where there were benefits, there would be fights. The space was only so big, everyone wanted to live a better life and have more space to move around, but what could they do? They could only invade other people's space. Chapter 239. The caravan traveled for a day, and in the evening, they chose to stop near a mountain valley. This guy's luck was pretty good. He only encountered 3 small beast groups. After killing 2 of them and expelling one, Lin Fan's eyes lit up. Other than some losses, the gains from slaughtering the beast groups were actually quite profitable. The evening sky was filled with the afterglow of sunset. Red, orange, grape gray, eggplant purple. The sunset clouds were dazzling, the colors were mixed and constantly changing. Sometimes it was like a roaring lion, sometimes it was like a galloping horse, and sometimes it was like a blooming sea of flowers. The sunset light shone on the emerald green mountain valley. In the mountain valley, the caravan had arranged a small area in a certain corner, and it was noisy. Come, take a look, the fresh beast meat we just slaughtered today. Buttermilk, fragrant and sweet buttermilk. There are only 10 pieces of clothing left, clearance sale. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were also in the crowd. They dragged their handcart and occupied an area. On the left was a stall selling wild vegetables, and on the right was a stall selling milk. Bai Ningbing looked around with interest. To think there would be such a small market in the caravan. There will be transactions when there is consumption, and consumption will stimulate the market. Fang Yuan replied. Bai Ningbing's gaze flickered. These words were really incisive. She looked at Fang Yuan. These purple maple leaves, are you going to sell them all? Fang Yuan nodded slightly. I have already joined the caravan, I can casually sell these purple maple leaves. Keeping them in my hands will instead attract the greed of some scoundrels. Moreover, purple maple leaves were not easy to preserve. Only a day had passed, but the purple maple leaves on Fang Yuan's cart were already showing signs of withering. As time passed, their value would become lower and lower. Of course, it was just 2 yuan stone. Fang Yuan naturally did not care. But throwing them away casually did not suit their current status, and would arouse suspicion. There are 2 types of small markets in the caravan. The one we are participating in is only the transactions between mortals, it happens every day. The other type is the transactions between GU masters, once every 7 days. Fang Yuan said. Bai Ningbing's blue eyes shone under the shadow of the straw hat. If we can participate in the GU masters' small market, it will be helpful to us. There is still a long way to go before we reach Shongclan City. To prevent any sudden incidents, we need at least 1 investigative GU. I already have a plan for that, but it's still too early. Fang Yuan smiled confidently as he thought of something in the Tusita flower. The 2 of them were talking in low voices. A male servant hobbled over. His clothes were ragged and his face was covered in blood. He looked like a beggar. Walking to the stall next to Fang Yuan's, he looked at the clay pot filled with milk and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Brother, can I have a sip of milk? Go. Don't get in the way of my business. The milkman waved his hand impatiently. The servant had no choice but to move to the front of Fang and Bai's handcart, 2 brothers. Before he could finish, Fang Yuan stepped forward, lifted his leg, and kicked him over. He shouted fiercely, "Scram!" The servant was kicked to the ground, his tattered clothes covered in black mud. His wounds were also affected, causing him to grimace in pain. He climbed up with difficulty, and stared at Fang Yuan with a hateful gaze. All right, I'll remember this. We are all mortals, Who hasn't met with misfortune one day? Chimpage. Fang Yuan's expression turned cold, and he kicked again. Slap. The servant fell to the ground again. Try saying another word. Fang Yuan looked down from above. But no matter how beautiful she was, or how moving her temperament was, in Fang Yuan's heart, it was all fart. Fang Yuan did not look at her appearance. No matter how beautiful her face and temperament were, if one peeled off her skin, it was all bones. He was curious, and thought of a certain person. Isn't this girl Shong Xin Si? Shong Xin Si was one of the young masters of Shong clan. In the clan, the children of the clan leader were all called young master. Only the successor that obtained the approval of the clan elders could be called young clan leader. Just with her identity as the young master of Shong clan, Shong Xin Si was the pride of the heavens. Everyone said that Shong clan was greedy and black-hearted, but this Shong Xin Si was an exception. She had a weak nature, and was not good at fighting. She was soft-hearted, and was the worst at doing business in Shong clan. When she did business, not only did she often suffer losses, she was also often cheated by others. She easily trusted others, and most importantly, she would not learn from being cheated once, and would be cheated again and again. As the young master of Shong clan, she was once the shame of the entire Shong clan, and was looked down upon the most. But on account that she was the bloodline of the Shong clan leader, they showed mercy and did not expel her from the clan. She treated mortals equally, and had a strong sense of compassion, and often helped and saved people. There were even a few times when she bought all the slaves in auctions, and was scolded by the Shong clan leader. But fate was truly wonderful. In the end, she became the leader of Shong clan. Chapter 240. But why is she here? Also, why is she called Zhong Xin Si? In my memories, she is a Gu master. Why do others say she has no cultivation talent, and is just a mortal? Fang Yuan was puzzled. Is she not Shong Xin Si, and only looks like her? This is too similar. No, wait. Fang Yuan's thoughts churned, as he suddenly dug out even older information from the depths of his memories. This Shong Xin Si had a rough life. She is the illegitimate child of Shong clan leader when he was young, traveling outside. She grew up without a father, and was bullied. After her mother died, her life became even more difficult. Forced by her clansmen, she could only follow a caravan to trade. But when she arrived at Shong clan city, her bloodline was sensed by Shong clan leader. Shong clan leader was overjoyed, and acknowledged her in front of everyone, feeling indebted to her. Thus, even if she made many mistakes in the future, he would cover up for her. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan's eyes shone brightly. So that's it, I understand now. Combining the current world and the remnant clues in his memories, Fang Yuan deduced the truth. Many years ago, when Shong clan leader was still a young master, he left behind a bloodline in Zhong clan. It was Shong Xin Si. Shong clan and Zhong clan had been on bad terms since ancient times. After Shong Xin Si was born, her mother did not reveal the identity of Shong clan leader due to various considerations. Thus, Shong Xin Si was born as a shameful illegitimate child, and followed her mother's surname. This was also why she was still called Zhong Xin Si now. After her mother died, she was forced by her clansmen to go out to trade. But when she came to Shong clan city, her bloodline was discovered. Her father also became the Shong clan leader. He had a high status and authority. When he recognized her in front of everyone, her fate changed drastically. That is to say, my caravan is the first caravan she went out to trade with. After realizing this, Fang Yuan's heart thumped. After all, this Shong Xin Si had great potential. She was the future Shong clan leader. If this was spread, the whole world would not believe it. Of course, the future could be changed. Even according to his previous life's trajectory, when she became clan leader, the world would change, and the powerful Shong clan would be in ruins. To Fang Yuan, when she became the Shong clan leader, she would not be able to do anything. This investment period is really too long, and there is no return. Her value was not shown when she was the clan leader, but when she was recognized by the Shong clan leader and became one of the young masters of Shong clan. As the young master, she had to be responsible for a part of the business. This was also the tradition of Shong clan to nurture their successors. This was exactly what Fang Yuan needed. He needed to dispose of the stolen goods. A stable, good, and safe channel to dispose of stolen goods. This was essential in his grand plan of rebirth. In the future, he would definitely open more secret inheritances. There were many things that could not be used. As long as they were traded, they would be able to display their great value. For example, the Bone Spear GU and Spiral Bone Spear GU in Bai Ningbing's aperture. Of these GU, one was enough for Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing. At most, they would keep one as a backup. If the others were not sold, they could only rot in one's hands, and one would even have to spend a lot of milk to raise them. Previously, Fang Yuan had planned to use that Jiao Jin Sheng as a temporary channel to dispose of stolen goods. Then, it would be best if he could form a relationship with Jiao Fu and nurture this channel. In the end, fate made a fool out of him. In order to receive the secret of the Flower Wine Monk's inheritance, he had no choice but to kill Jiao Jin Sheng. This is a gift sent to me by the heavens. Fang Yuan sighed in his heart, looking at the distant Shong Xin Ci, his eyes shining brightly. Shong clan had a strong background. At least before the storm of change that engulfed the southern border, they were one of the overlords of the southern border. Even if he sold stolen goods to them, the victims would not dare to find trouble with them. But precisely because they were too strong, Fang Yuan was worried that they would commit treachery. Don't look at the righteous path. Shong clan people's hearts were all black, this was too normal. But Shong Xin Ci was definitely not like that. She had gone through 100 years of history, and was tested by the changes. Her kindness, gentleness, benevolence, and honesty were well spread throughout the southern border in Fang Yuan's previous life. And most importantly, she had no foundation. Different from the other young masters, after she came to Shong Clan City, she was completely alone. In the future, she made many mistakes. It was not that she was not smart, but because the other young masters, for the sake of the clan leader position, secretly made things difficult for her, and suppressed their competitors. Fang Yuan needed her channels, and if she wanted to live a better life in the future, she also needed Fang Yuan as external help. Most importantly, she was easy to control and influence. Her youth and personality were all weaknesses in Fang Yuan's eyes. He. Bai Ningbing suddenly laughed. Don't tell me you like her. What? Fang Yuan's thoughts paused. Don't pretend, we are both men, I can tell from your eyes. Speaking of which, this girl is quite pleasing to the eye. But if you want to get her, it will be hard. Unless I help you find a chance to secretly kidnap her. In exchange, you have to give me that young Jiu first. Bai Ningbing said enticingly. But Fang Yuan's next sentence angered her. You are a man? You. This was a little troublesome. Fang Yuan first had to get close to Shong Xin Ci, then gain her trust. But time was limited, he had to settle everything before she reached Shong Clan City. Bai Ningbing's idea of kidnapping people was too bad, the risk was too high, it would only make things worse. Fang Yuan knew one thing, Shong Xin Ci was deceived not because she was stupid, but because she was too kind. In his previous life, there was a demonic cultivator, known as Night Gentleman, an expert at stealing and cunning like a fox. He used the same reason to deceive Shong Xin Ci many times. One time, he could not help but ask, I keep telling you this, aren't you afraid I am lying? Shong Xin Ci said, you said you have a cash flow problem, if you don't borrow some yuan stone, your family will starve to death. I know there is a high chance you are lying to me, but every time you say it, I can't help but think, what if you are telling the truth this time? If I don't pay first, a few lives will be lost. Although this possibility is low, I don't want to bet on this. Night Gentleman heard this, tears flowed down his face, deeply moved by Shong Xin Ci's charisma, immediately kneeling on the ground. From then on, he turned over a new leaf, following Shong Xin Ci with unwavering loyalty, making many contributions. The sun was slowly swallowed by the mountains in the west, as night fell. The long line of people also thinned. In the end, the servants received their food and slowly dispersed. All right, that's all for today. I'll come back tomorrow. Before she could finish, a figure suddenly appeared in front of her. What kind of face was this? No eyebrows, they were all burnt, only a bit of hair was left, and one ear was missing. Who else could it be but Fang Yuan? Shongshin Ci was truly shocked, and the servant girl behind her even screamed. What are you doing? That tall and sturdy old Jiu master immediately shouted. Lady Zhong, do a good deed and buy my goods. Fang Yuan ignored the old Jiu master, shouting at Shongshin Ci. Bai Ningbing silently stood at a distance, watching Fang Yuan's performance with interest. I still have one last steamed biscuit, take it. Shongshin Ci had a gentle smile on her face. She did not have any disgust towards Fang Yuan, only sympathy. Looking at his injuries, his past must have been very painful. Sigh, he is also a pitiful person. Fang Yuan took the steamed biscuit, but threw it on the ground. I don't eat this, I want to sell it. I sold my family's old house to buy this cart of purple maple leaves. But I can't sell it, the leaves are about to wither, what's the point of living? Sob sob sob, if I can't sell it, I don't want to live anymore, I'll just kill myself. As he spoke, he started crying loudly. He stomped his feet and howled, his expression was extremely agitated, with a trace of madness. Bai Ningbing was dumbfounded. Such acting skills, I really can't compare. If she did not know Fang Yuan's background, she might have been deceived by Fang Yuan. She looked at the expressions and gazes of the people around her. There was indeed a lot of shock, disdain, sympathy, indifference, but there was no suspicion. Who is this person, rushing over so quickly, scaring me, so greedy? He actually wants Lady Zhong to buy his goods. This kind of person deserves it. Does he really think business is so easy? Sigh, he must have been pressured. Back then, I encountered it too. The crowd discussed fervently. Hey, you madman, you dare to scare my lady, get lost. The old Jiu master's words were like thunder. He took a step forward and protected Shongshin Ci behind him. Lady Zhong, if you don't buy my goods, I don't want to live anymore. Lady Zhong, you are a good person. Please buy this cart of goods and save me. Fang Yuan cried non-stop. Shongshin Ci's heart softened. Sigh, don't cry. I will buy it. Life is the most precious thing. You need to live well from now on, don't commit suicide. Uncle Zhongzhu, give him 3 pieces of yuan stone. Lady. The old Jiu master's brows furrowed. Fuck, this works too. Otherwise, why would I cause such a ruckus? The group of peddlers were extremely excited. Thank you, Lady Zhong. Lady Zhong, you are my, Hey-Tu's, savior. Fang Yuan was wild with joy, his face was covered in tears as he bowed continuously. The old Jiu master's eyelids twitched, looking at the cart behind Fang Yuan. This cart of purple maple leaves is at most worth 2 yuan stone. 3 is too much. Uncle Zhongzhu. Shongshin Ci's voice was soft. The old Jiu master sighed deeply. Lady, it is not that I am unwilling to part with 3 yuan stone. But to a mere servant like him, it is still too much. It will attract covetous eyes and schemes. Lady, for his safety, 2 yuan stone is just right. Moreover, if you give it like this, I'm afraid all the peddlers will come tomorrow. Uncle Zhongzhu is right, then give me 2 yuan stone. Shongshin Ci thought for a while and readily agreed. Chapter 241. Many peddlers looked at Fang Yuan with jealousy. Fang Yuan placed the 2 prime val stones he got from selling the leaves into his pocket, throwing down the handcart and leaving the small market with Bai Ningbing. In my opinion, it is better to capture her. If you want to get close to her, don't forget our current identities. Bai Ningbing said softly. Fang and Bai were Chen clan's helpers. They used this identity to sneak into the caravan, but now they had undoubtedly become an obstacle for Fang Yuan to get close to Shongshin Ci. But Fang Yuan already had a plan. He looked at Bai Ningbing and smiled. You are right. So, I am going to beat someone up now. Bai Ningbing was stunned. Beat someone up? The night sky was clear and filled with countless stars. In a spacious tent, a few servants sat in a circle. A pot was burning on the coal stove in the center. The tent's roof was open, and the soot from the burning coal flew out from the hole in the roof. There was meat in the pot, and the servants stared at the meat, swallowing their saliva from time to time as they smelled the fragrance of the meat. Brother Cheong, I have investigated. I've already investigated the 2 newcomers, said the skinny monkey-like man. Oh, what do you mean? The robust servant called Brother Cheong raised his eyebrows. These two were introduced by the old village head of that village in Ziyu Mountain. Skinny Monkey replied. So it was like that. I remember that old village head was originally a mortal. The vice leader wanted a stronghold, so he casually enlightened him. So it was this background. Everyone came to a realization. Although they have a GU master behind them, so what? Brother Cheong's sister is our young master Chen Xin's concubine, someone shouted. These two newcomers are too arrogant. If we don't teach them a lesson, won't they turn the world upside down in the future? Stop arguing, we will listen to Brother Cheong, someone shouted. The tent quietened down, and everyone looked at Brother Cheong. Brother Cheong was somewhat hesitant. Fang and Bai had a GU master behind them after all. Even if this GU master was not a Chen clan member. Even if this GU master was an old man with one foot in the grave. But he was still a GU master after all. Have you investigated thoroughly? What's the relationship between these two people and the old man from the village? Skinny Monkey immediately revealed an awkward expression. This. Brother Cheong, you also know. With our status, it's not easy for us to find out all this. Brother Cheong could not help but ponder. Big brother, these two rookies are too arrogant. What kind of attitude did they have towards Skinny Monkey this morning? They're obviously looking down on us. He must be taught a lesson. Not bad. That old village chief, according to his original identity, is not even as good as us. He just got lucky and became a GU master. What is a GU master like him? If our vice leader didn't need him, how could he become a GU master? He's just a high-class servant. What's more, caravans are always in a precarious situation. Even if these two people die, that old village chief also won't dare to settle accounts with our Chen family. Everyone was talking at once. Brother Cheong frowned. The skinny monkey-like man observed for a long time. He wanted to find trouble with Fang and Bai. After holding back his anger this morning, his heart was filled with hatred towards Fang Yuan. But he knew he had no background. If he wanted revenge, he could only rely on Brother Cheong. He saw that the time was right and said, I just heard that they sold their lives in the small market. A cart of purple maple leaves was actually sold for 2 yuan stone. Brother Cheong's eyes immediately brightened. What? 2 yuan stone? How can this be? They didn't lower the price. Such good luck. Which idiot bought it? Skinny monkey-like man sneered, his tone filled with disdain and jealousy. Who else? It's that Miss Zhong, a mortal, but who asked her to have such a good life, giving birth to a good family. Damn it, back then when I smuggled goods, I was miserably suppressed by others. Why can't I have the luck of these two fellows? Brother Cheong was envious. He continued indignantly, tomorrow, we'll deal with them. As rookies, they have to show respect to us, the older generation. If they don't know the rules, we have to be kind and teach them a lesson. Yes, Brother Cheong. Whatever Brother Cheong says, we'll do it. Brother Cheong is wise and mighty. Skinny monkey-like man flattered and took out a spoon to scoop up the soup. The meat soup is ready, Brother Cheong, try it first. The aroma of meat assailed the nostrils, and many people's Adam's apple moved as they swallowed their saliva. Brother Cheong licked his lips, took the spoon, blew on it, and was about to drink. Suddenly, the tent's curtain was lifted. Fang Yuan walked in with large strides. It's you. Everyone was surprised. The main character they had been planning for a long time had actually arrived. This made them feel a sense of helplessness and panic. Skinny monkey-like man jumped up and smiled sinisterly. Newcomer, do you know fear now? Want to apologize? I'm telling you, it's too late. Before he finished speaking, Fang Yuan expressionlessly lifted his leg. Bang! Skinny monkey-like man was directly kicked, and his back hit the coal stove. The cooked meat soup immediately splashed on his body, scalding him and causing him to scream loudly. Meat soup. It's all spilled. We pooled our money to buy the meat. It's not easy to get a chance to eat it, damn it. Bastard, you're courting death. For a moment, the crowd was indignant. They stood up one after another, roaring and rushing towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan held 2 pieces of yuan stone in his hands and threw them at them. Ouch! 2 people were hit. One covered his eyes, and the other covered his stomach, groaning in pain. Despicable, using a concealed weapon. Wait, this is Yuan stone? Everyone was about to rush over, but hearing this cry, their momentum suddenly stagnated. 2 pieces of Yuan stone lying on the ground attracted everyone's attention. Skinny monk-like man's cry also stopped abruptly, his eyes staring at Yuan stone. Birds die for food, and humans die for wealth. Has this person gone mad? Actually using Yuan stone to hit people? So he's already scared. This is Yuan stone. I may not earn a piece of Yuan stone even if I work for 2 months. For a moment, everyone's thoughts were surging like a tide. Some people looked at Fang Yuan with a trace of longing in their eyes. It was as if they were asking, "Do you have any more Yuan stone? Throw it at me. How dare you throw it at me? You're courting death." The servant who covered his eyes let go and shouted. His right eye could not open at all, it was purple and swollen. But this did not prevent him from reaching out and grabbing the nearest Yuan stone in his hand. Everyone shuddered and reacted, looking at the other Yuan stone on the ground. Boom! Everyone rushed towards this Yuan stone, throwing Fang Yuan to the back of their minds. Skinny monk-like man grimaced in pain, stood out and grabbed the Yuan stone. "Mine, this is mine," he threw it at me. Another servant who was hit by the Yuan stone bellowed. "Damn, monkey, aren't you injured? Why are you so fast?" Someone shouted, spittle flying everywhere. "All of you, shut up. Who tripped me just now? Stand up." Brother Chong's face was covered in dirt, he was very angry. Suddenly, an arm reached out and pulled him over. Who was so bold? He turned his head in anger and shock. It was none other than Fang Yuan's ugly face. He shouted, "You dare to grab me? Let go of your dog paws." Bang! Fang Yuan raised his fist and punched him in the face. Immediately, his nose was fractured and blood gushed out. A strong dizziness hit him, and Brother Chong saw stars. Fang Yuan loosened his grip, and he collapsed on the ground. He hit someone. Brother Chong is injured, let's take care of him. The others were stunned for a moment, then as if awakened from a dream, they raised their fists and rushed towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was expressionless, and with a sweep of his fist, the nearest servant flew to the side with a cry, his mouth full of teeth broken. Then, another person rushed over. Fang Yuan raised his heel, aimed at his crotch, and lightly kicked. Ugh! The man covered his crotch, his eyes rolled back, and he instantly fainted. With a few punches and kicks from Fang Yuan, all the servants fell, leaving only the skinny monkey hiding in the corner. Fang Yuan's gaze swept over, and the skinny monkey suddenly trembled and fell to the ground with a plop. "I admit defeat, I admit defeat. Hero, please be magnanimous." He loudly begged for mercy, kowtowing non-stop. His head hit the ground, making a series of muffled sounds. But he still couldn't hear any movement from Fang Yuan. The skinny monkey trembled and raised his head, but Fang Yuan had already left. Inside the tent, there were a lot of servants lying on the ground, some unconscious, some groaning. Fang Yuan walked between the tents. The commotion just now had attracted a lot of attention. This was what Fang Yuan wanted to see. Bai Ningbing followed from a dark corner. On the first day, he beat up all the servants working with him. This is not a good influence. She chuckled, taking pleasure in his misfortune. In her heart, she was even more curious as to why Fang Yuan did this. Fang Yuan didn't answer, and walked deeper into the temporary camp of the caravan. Soon, he arrived at his destination. He had inquired about the carriage, and the Chen family's old butler slept here. He didn't immediately knock on the door, but walked to a dark corner, took out his dagger, and started to cut himself. The surroundings were quiet, only the sound of the dagger cutting flesh could be heard. Bai Ningbing heard it, and slightly raised her eyebrows. She once again witnessed Fang Yuan's ruthlessness and coldness. Not only did he not make a sound when he cut himself with the dagger, but he also became more and more skilled at it. It didn't seem like he was cutting himself, but more like he was cutting a wooden stake. Dong dong dong, there was a knock on the door. The narrow carriage was filled with junk, and there was only a small bed. Fortunately, the old butler was short, and curled up on the small bed, it didn't seem crowded. Dong dong dong. There was another knock on the door. The old butler, who was already sound asleep, frowned and turned around. Dong dong dong. The knocking on the door got louder, and the old butler opened his bloodshot eyes. Who is it? It's me, old butler. A voice came from outside the door. The voice was very unfamiliar, but it was a little familiar. The old butler frowned even more, and after a long time, he remembered that it was a newcomer who joined this morning. A newcomer, and yet he doesn't know the rules. What is he trying to do by disturbing my sleep in the middle of the night? Slap. The crisp sound of a slap stunned everyone. The servant who shouted the loudest covered his face and could not help but take a step back. The old butler looked at him gloomily. Why can't he complain to me? Huh? Hee, you guys are getting more and more lawless, you even dare to snatch someone's yuan stone. The old butler also knew that the newcomers would be bullied, but he was happy to see it happen. This was an inevitable process. On one hand, it could suppress the arrogance of the newcomers, making it easier for him to manage them in the future. On the other hand, it could also promote the integration between the old and the newcomers. But the degree of bullying could not be too excessive. Directly robbing the yuan stone, what difference was there between that and bandits? Seneschal, it's not what you think. Someone cried out. Slap. It was another crisp slap. The old butler's voice was cold. Did I allow you to speak? Seneschal, we have to say this. Yes, we are all innocent, Seneschal. Many of the servants cried out, feeling wronged. We're the victims here, okay? The old steward's hair stood up in anger as he roared, you took his primordial stones, and you're saying that you're innocent. Are these 2 yuan stones his? Speak. Speak the truth. Yes. Although it is so, but, slap. 2 mouths. 2 servants covered their mouths. The old butler pointed at them and scolded, snatching the yuan stone is fine, but you dare to use a knife. You are too daring. Speak, who was the one who used the knife? When a servant was injured, he could not work, but instead had to rest and heal. This was the cost. If there was any delay, the GU masters above would blame him, and the old butler would have to take responsibility. Used a knife? We did not. Seneschal, we are all old people, don't you know this? What a bunch of bullshit from your mother. Do you think I am blind? You didn't use a knife, how did he get his injuries? Did he do it himself? The old butler roared. Bai Ningbing watched from a shadowy corner, thinking, Seneschal, you are so smart, you guessed it right. Slap. The old butler was extremely furious, slapping them repeatedly. Everyone suffered at least a few slaps, all of them were intimidated by the old butler's power, not daring to speak. But they were all clenching their fists tightly, some had veins popping out of their foreheads, some were gritting their teeth. Their hearts were filled with anger, unable to express it. All of you scram back to the tent, I will settle the score with you tomorrow. The old butler's hands were numb from the slaps, he was old after all, panting heavily, but his anger had dissipated by more than half. The servants did not dare to disobey this order, they turned around and stared angrily at Fang Yuan, engraving his figure in the deepest part of their hearts. Chapter 243. Miss, you can't. Zhong Zhu hurriedly said. Miss, our Zhong family's caravan is the weakest in the entire caravan. If we take him in, we will undoubtedly offend another family. For 2 insignificant servants, it is not worth it. Miss, even if you don't think for yourself, you have to think for the Zhong family's caravan and the people around you. Zhong Zhu advised. This. Shongxin Ci was caught in a dilemma, unable to make a decision. What's so difficult about this? Miss Zhong, I am only a helper of the Chen family, not their servant. If you are still in a dilemma, I have a way to solve it. You can tell the Chen family, me and my companion offended you, if you want to punish us, then imprison us. The Chen family will definitely not offend you for 2 mortals. Fang Yuan said. That's a good idea. Shongxin Ci's eyes lit up. Miss. Zhong Zhu helplessly sighed, knowing that he could no longer persuade her. Fang Yuan immediately took advantage of the situation and stood up, bowing deeply to Shongxin Ci. Lady Zhong, you are such a good person. I will definitely repay you in the future. Shongxin Ci shook her head. I never thought of you repaying me, since I met you, then I will do my best to help those who need help. Tonight, you can sleep in my camp. Xiao Dai, arrange a tent for the 2 of them. Yes, miss. Xiao Dai unwillingly agreed. Come with me, you 2. Don't blame me if you get lost. Xiao Dai did not give Fang Yuan any face and led the way. Looking at Fang and Bai's departing figures, Zhong Zhu deeply frowned. From the bottom of his heart, he did not like Fang and Bai, but as Shongxin Ci's bodyguard, he had to think of her safety. He decided to personally handle this matter. This was only a small tent, the space inside was narrow. But Fang and Bai did not care. They had even used a beast trap tree as a tent, this environment was already good enough. In the darkness, the two casually laid down. Fang Yuan reached out his hand and held Bai Ningbing's hand. "Everything will be fine, Bai Yun." Bai Ningbing rolled her eyes. She naturally knew Fang Yuan's true intentions. He secretly transferred a portion of Snow Silver Primeval essence to Fang Yuan through his palm. "Sleep early, luckily we met such a good person like Miss Zhong." Fang Yuan closed his eyes and started to cultivate secretly after he finished speaking. Now that he had already advanced to the second rank, his Primeval essence was the Scarlet Steel Sea. Although he could already use the 4 flavors liquor worm, Bai Ningbing's learning Silver True Essence was undoubtedly more outstanding. For Fang Yuan, as long as Bai Ningbing was around, the 4 flavors liquor worm was useless. Snow Silver Primeval Essence cleansed his aperture. Fang Yuan's foundation rose rapidly. With the effect of breath concealment GU, he was not worried about his aura leaking. As long as he did not use GU worms outside his body, the disguise would not be broken. Right now, breath concealment GU had yet to truly step onto the stage of history. In his previous life, around 150 years later, it became widely known because of Hunter Prince Sun Gan. In the following 50 years, during the Great War that affected the entire southern border, it was widely used and flourished for a time. That is to say, according to his previous life's historical footsteps, people would only consciously guard against breath concealment GU after 150 years. 200 years later, people would have matured methods and rich experience to deal with breath concealment GU. Breath concealment GU was also a rank 3 GU, and there were no rank 4 GU masters in this caravan. Although there were many GU masters, who would pay special attention to 2 ordinary people like Hei Tu and Bai Yun? After exhausting this Silver Primeval essence, Fang Yuan immediately activated the Crocodile Strength GU in his aperture. Traces of new strength were permanently added to his body. The bones in his body were no longer white, but resembled hard black iron. It was like a firm cornerstone, steadily bearing the continuous growth of strength. The night passed without words. The next morning, just as the sky brightened, the whole camp woke up. After a period of nervousness, the caravan set off. Zhongzhu did not directly go to Chen clan, but first secretly inquired through his subordinates. There was indeed a fight last night, and many people saw it at the scene. As for Brother Qiong's group, they covered up the fact that Fang Yuan beat them up. If this matter were to spread, it would be too shameful that so many people could not beat Fang Yuan. Then how would Brother Qiong and the rest survive? In fact, they went back that night and discussed it. After interrogating each other, they reached a consensus and fabricated a story of they bullied a newcomer, and in the end, Fang Yuan took the initiative to hand over the Yuan stone, and then they were indignant and went to find the old steward. To prove that the fight had indeed happened, Zhongzhu went to find Chen clan's leader. This vice leader heard that his subordinates had 2 mortals who offended Zhongshin Ci and were detained, and could not help but ponder. Although he did not want to offend Zhong clan because of 1 or 2 mortals, he did not want to compromise on the spot. Chen clan's prestige could not fall. Secondly, among the servants, there were people who were related to him. Thus, he asked who they were. Zhongzhu told him. Chen clan's vice leader was slightly stunned. He still had some impression. Back then, it was the old village head's request that allowed these 2 people to join. But to think that on the first day, they would poke a hole in the ground. According to his estimation, Fang and Bai should be the old village head's relatives, but so what? The old village head was enlightened by him, and was under his control. Abandoning these 2 people, he would not dare to have any objections. Moreover, it was clearly these 2 who made a mistake, and even caused trouble for Chen clan. They deserved to die. Thinking of this, the vice leader had already decided to abandon these 2 people to resolve the conflict with Zhong clan. But on the surface, he showed a difficult expression. "Brother Zhong, I won't hide it from you, if you take these 2, our Chen clan will not have enough manpower. You can't ask us GU masters to do manual labor to move goods, right? How about this? I will call the steward in charge over. He understands the situation. If we really lack manpower, then we cannot give these 2 people to you now. They will stay with me for now, and when the next village recruits new people, I will hand them over to your Zhong clan." "All right." Zhongzhu nodded. The vice leader could not help but reveal a smile. This way, there wouldn't be any gossips about the Chen family being afraid of the Zhong family. When the old steward was called over, he felt some apprehension in his heart. Did I do something wrong? But when he heard the situation clearly, his heart immediately became excited. This was a heaven-sent opportunity. These two people were really unlucky, falling into Zhong clan's hands. It would be best if they both died, then wouldn't those 2 yuan stones be mine? Thinking of this, the old steward immediately patted his chest and guaranteed that there was absolutely no problem with manpower. Even if there was a problem, for those 2 yuan stones, he would definitely throw away his old bones and personally move the good. At this point, the dust had already settled. Zhongzhu said his goodbyes, but his heart was sullen. For the next 10 days, Fang and Bai worked during the day and cultivated at night. Ziyu Mountain had already been left far behind by the caravan, stepping into Feihu Mountain's territory. Fang Yuan knew that the further he was from Ziyu Mountain, the more concealed his identity would be, and the safer he would be. These days, he had already gained half a crocodile's strength, but many bone spear Jiu had starved to death, and his milk spring water was already insufficient. He could only give up some to supply the remaining Jiu worms. Fang Yuan felt heartache. Although he could not use these Jiu worms, he could sell them. He planned to buy Jiu worms in Shongclan City, and gather a set. This required large amounts of yuan stone, although he had heavenly essence treasure lotus, and could produce tens of yuan stone a day. But in the caravan, to prevent his identity from being exposed, he could not use it. Thus, he needed to control Shongxin Ci even more. Once they reached Shongclan, Shongxin Ci would become one of the young masters, and this would bring great convenience to Fang Yuan's trip to Shongclan City. Of course, the prerequisite was that he not only had to get close to Shongxin Ci, but also gain her trust. The mountain forest was deep and serene, and white fog lingered. The caravan slowly moved forward on the narrow mountain path. The white fog was getting thicker, and people's vision was getting smaller, slowly becoming limited to within 10 steps. Feihu Mountain was foggy, and if Fang and Bai traveled alone, it would be extremely difficult. But being in the caravan, they could naturally borrow the strength of investigative Jiu masters. Suddenly, a clamor came from ahead, and the caravan stopped. What's going on? There's trouble. We encountered a monkey group blocking the way. At once, many people in the caravan discussed, but they were not surprised. In Feihu Mountain, monkeys ruled the land, and monkey groups formed a sea, innumerable. When the caravan moved here, they would encounter monkey groups blocking the way and robbing them. As long as one had some experience, they would not be surprised. Monkeys from Feihu Mountain. Bandit monkeys I've read about had it strong in bodies and were as large as elephants with my own eyes today. Adult bandit monkeys were 10 feet tall and had bulging muscles. At first, their upper arms were twice as thick as their lower limbs, and fought with the monkey groups, iron rods killing wave after mountain rocks. In the end, the caravan was either annihilated that was covered with black tiger stripes. What was strange was that fur would naturally grow from their waist that could not covering their crotch and tail like a leather skirt. If it was any other mountain, the wild beasts would keep each other in check, and there would always be a huge mouth and let out a loud and clear howl. Their howl was as forceful as a lion or tiger's. They lived together, and although there were fights between the monkey king's howl caused they encountered external enemies. For a moment, the wind and cloud surged and the sound waves spread, strength was not something a caravan could match. Even a large cloud of vision might not be able to exterminate only then did they realize that both sides of the mountain path were filled with bandit monkeys. This righteous path more than 1,000 bandit monkeys went deep into Feihu Mountain, fighting their bodies were huge and the trees were as tall as their heads. Some saplings only reached their waist. At the front of the caravan, the even larger Monkey King was sitting on a stone stool. A grey stone wine jar that looked like a water jar was placed beside it, emitting a strong wine fragrance. After the Monkey King howled, it closed its mouth. The other bandit monkeys were still howling. This instead showed the Monkey King's imposing manner. Its gaze was calm and its eyes shone with brilliance as it sat motionlessly. In contrast, those ordinary bandit monkeys were staring at the caravan's goods, looking restless and eager to try. Monkeys, foxes, lycanthropes, these wild beasts all had intelligence. This bandit monkey king's intelligence was only comparable to a 3-year-old child and not as good as the lightning lycanthropes, but it was smart enough to communicate. The caravan leader Jiao Long squinted his eyes and looked at the monkey king, suddenly saying, "Jiao Yong, you go." "Yes, leader." Jiao Yong stood up. He was tall and fat, with a big belly, and looked very sturdy. He was a defense-type GU master and his vital GU was water armor GU. He was a rank 2 GU master and specialized in water battles. One time, he was swimming in the river and killed a turtle the size of a small boat. From its body, he obtained a turtle strength GU. After using it, he gained a permanent turtle strength. Seeing Jiao Yong approaching, the monkey's roars suddenly became louder, the sound waves shaking the forest. Jiao Yong had a solemn expression on his face. He rolled up his sleeves and stood before the Monkey King. The Monkey King had a huge body. Even though it was sitting down, it was still a head taller than Jiao Yong. It looked at Jiao Yong and roared. Immediately, several bandit monkeys carried a stone table and walked over, huffing and puffing. The stone table was as large as a bed and extremely heavy. When it landed on the ground, a muffled sound could be heard. 2 more bandit monkeys brought over stone stools. They were placed in front of the Monkey King. The Monkey King patted the stone table, and the banging sound was like the beating of a drum. Jiao Yong swallowed his saliva and sat down. He extended his right arm and placed his elbow on the table. The Monkey King also stretched out his left hand and clasped his hands together. A female bandit monkey beside him suddenly screamed. When Jiao Yong and the Monkey King heard this model, they exerted their strength at the same time and started this unique contest. The bandit monkeys revered strength, and arm wrestling was the most important social activity among the monkeys. The little monkey could arm wrestle as soon as it was born. Arm wrestling was not only a game among the bandit monkeys, it was also a common method to resolve disputes. Back then, the righteous GU Master Heaven Crown Marquis only had rank 5 cultivation. With such strength, he naturally could not fight his way to the peak. He used this custom of the bandit monkeys to arm wrestle until he reached the peak of Feihu Mountain and defeated the Monkey Emperor. Then, he obtained the recognition of the monkey group and made an agreement to open a trade route. From then on, all caravans that entered and exited Feihu Mountain had to follow this agreement and arm wrestle with the bandit monkeys. The winner would obtain the recognition of the bandit monkeys and be exempted from tolls. The loser would have to let the monkeys take a portion of the goods. This way, the caravans could do business and the bandit monkeys could also taste the benefits, never getting tired of it. For many years, the caravans complied with the agreement. The trade route gradually prospered and the agreement gradually stabilized. Beside the stone table, Jiao Yong's face was flushed red and his expression was distorted. He had already used all his strength. But he still could not resist the Monkey King's strength. His arm gradually tilted to the side, and finally, with a bang, the Monkey King's arm pressed down on Jiao Yong. Victory! The Monkey King stood up and happily pounded its chest with its fists. The monkey group shouted loudly, their momentum was shocking. Jiao Yong lowered his head and retreated. On the way back, the bandit monkeys on both sides mocked him to the extreme. Some lifted their leather skirts and revealed their red buttocks, facing Jiao Yong, some made faces, and some wagged their fingers. To think that there would be a day when I would be mocked by animals. Jiao Yong sighed helplessly, a bitter smile on his face. Jiao Long was expressionless and waved his hand behind him. The group that belonged to the Jiao clan began to move forward. The monkeys swarmed forward and plucked the goods from the open caravans. The Jiao clan played a trick and covered the fine coalstones with a layer of gorgeous silk and silk cloth. The monkeys' attention was attracted by the colorful cloth and they let go of the gray fine coalstones that had a higher market price. The monkey group played wantonly. Many of them wrapped the cloth around their arms, waist, and back. The scene was extremely noisy. "Where is Jiao Ping?" Jiao Long shouted in a deep voice. Jiao Ping slowly walked out. He formed a sharp contrast with Jiao Yong. He was as thin as a match and seemed extremely weak. "I have come to take revenge for you." He walked past Jiao Yong and casually patted his shoulder. "With big brother Jiao Ping here, it will naturally be a piece of cake." Jiao Yong cupped his fists and smiled bitterly. Jiao clan members sighed in relief when they saw Jiao Ping, showing a relieved expression. Seeing Jiao Ping's arrival, the monkey group let out strange cries filled with contempt and disdain. The Monkey King had already sat down and unconcernedly lifted the wine jar and drank a mouthful of monkey wine. In the end, you are still animals, judging people by their appearance. Jiao Long sneered. This Jiao Ping looked thin and weak, but he actually had the strength of 2 bears. He only used the tendon coiling Gu, causing the tendons in his body to twist like tree roots, thus compressing his muscles. Jiao Ping sat down and stretched out his hand. His hand was not even a quarter of the Monkey King's claw. But after exerting his strength, he only lasted for a moment before he defeated the Monkey King. For a moment, the monkey group's roars stopped. The Monkey King's eyes were wide open, showing an expression of disbelief. Jiao Long chuckled and waved his hand, indicating the group to continue moving forward. The monkeys blocking the road automatically gave way, but did not make a move. Jiao Clan's group moved forward for a small distance before the monkey group called out and blocked the road again. The Monkey King patted the stone table, refusing to believe it, and challenged Jiao Ping. Jiao Ping had a smile on his face. Another victory. Everyone, I will be going first. Jiao Long cupped his fists. After saying goodbye, Jiao Clan's group passed this round. Alright, it is our Lin Clan's turn. Lin Dong. Lin Clan's vice leader shouted. The others did not argue, the caravan had already discussed the order. As time passed, the caravan moved forward section by section. To pass Fei Hu Mountain and minimize losses, each clan specially nurtured many GU masters. Bull strength, tiger strength, elephant strength, python strength, horse strength. GU masters went up one by one, each displaying their abilities, winning and losing. Most people passed the round, and it was finally Zhong Clan's group's turn. Zhongzhu's expression did not look good. He was a healing type GU master and did not specialize in strength. Moreover, he could only use his own strength to arm wrestle with the Monkey King and could not use GU worms. Once discovered, it would be considered cheating and would attract the monkey group's attack. In this Zhong Clan caravan, other than him, a rank 3, there were no other GU masters. Thus, in the caravan, his strength was at the bottom. Shongxin Ci's life in Zhong Clan was not good, and as an illegitimate child, she was ostracized. Especially after her mother passed away, the situation became even worse. According to her mother's will, Shongxin Ci sold her family assets and established this caravan. Many Zhong Clan members wished for this disgrace of the clan to die outside. Thus, they did not send any GU masters in. Uncle Zhongzhu, don't worry, they are just some goods. As long as you are here, it's fine. Shongxin Ci was very attentive. Noticing Zhongzhu's expression, she softly consoled him. Finally, only Zhong Clan is left. TSK, no need to look, they are bound to lose. I know that Zhongzhu better. Zhong Clan's caravan is said to be organized by Zhong Clan's girl. Thus, only Zhongzhu is left to keep up appearances. Many GU masters stood behind the round, looking over with the thought of watching a show. They had more or less lost some goods, so their moods were naturally not good. Comparison produces happiness. Unlucky people would often feel better after seeing even more unlucky people. Many people looked towards Zhong Clan's caravan, seeking comfort in their hearts. The goods are dead, human lives are more important. Uncle Zhongzhu, you don't need to go up, we can let the monkey group take the goods. Shongxin Ci said. Sigh, Miss doesn't know. If we don't compete, we won't be able to pass. These monkeys are stubborn, we have to wrestle. Miss, even if we lose, we can't lose. We can't let others look down on us, I will go now. Zhongzhu cupped his fists, bracing himself to go up. Wait. Right at this time, Fang Yuan came out from the crowd. Miss Zhong, you've saved my life before. Let me go this time. He cupped his fists. With just you. Servant Xiao Dai rolled her eyes. It's already this time. You are not a GU master, don't add to the mess. Shongxin Ci also smiled. Hey too, I appreciate your intention. This is not a joke, the Monkey King has great strength. Didn't you see the GU masters in front have broken bones? Miss, even if I break bones, I will still repay you. Fang Yuan insisted. How can you be like this? You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. If you break bones, it would be my family's miss who needs to treat you. Xiao Dai waved her hand in disgust. Don't come and make trouble, okay? Miss Zhong, you don't know. My strength has surpassed ordinary people since I was young. Even adults didn't have as much strength as me. This time, I will definitely go. Saying so, Fang Yuan turned around and walked towards the Monkey King. Hey Tu. Shongxin Ci wanted to stop him, but was stopped by Zhongzhu. Miss, he is not an idiot, he definitely has the confidence to stand up. Sometimes, we need to believe in others. Zhongzhu persuaded. In fact, he had no confidence in Fang Yuan. He only felt that it was good to take this chance to teach this mortal a lesson. Yi, look, the Zhong clan actually sent out a servant. Haha, Zhong clan has no one, so they sent a servant to embarrass themselves. At once, many GU masters looked at Zhong clan with envy. No wonder we couldn't beat him. Brother Qiong and the rest were speechless at this scene. This is a monster. Now that I think about it, I was really lucky to not be beaten to death by him. Thinking back, they immediately felt a lingering fear. They originally wanted to find a chance to take revenge on Fang Yuan, but after seeing this, they no longer had any desire for revenge. Instead, they were worried that Fang Yuan would take the initiative to find trouble with them in the future. Chen clan's old steward's expression was ugly. To think that this fool had such brute strength. Oh no. I hope vice leader won't blame me. He carefully glanced at Chen clan's vice leader. Chen clan's vice leader frowned. He thought of many things. He started to suspect Zhong clan's intentions. Was it a trap to ask for Zhong clan's people? Zhong clan saw the value of this servant, so they purposely imprisoned him and then came to ask for him. The more he thought about it, the more reasonable he felt, and he couldn't help but snort coldly. Anyone who felt that they had been tricked and cheated would not be in a good mood. But the mistake had already been made. He could only pinch his nose and swallow this loss. I didn't see wrongly, right? Servant girl Xiao Dai covered her mouth. Seeing this result, she was shocked speechless. The worry on Shongxin Ci's face disappeared, and her lips curled into a smile. Let's go. Zhongzhu waved his hand, directing the caravan to move forward, his eyes emitting a complicated light. Fang Yuan won, and Zhong clan's caravan started to pass the checkpoint. Fang Yuan won 2 rounds in a row, and more than half of Zhong clan's caravan left. In the 3rd round, Fang Yuan purposely lost in order to disguise himself, and Zhong clan's caravan still lost a lot of goods. But even so, Fang Yuan's performance was enough to make everyone look at him in a different light. After returning to the caravan, he received a warm welcome. Miss Zhong, fortunately I did not disappoint you. He cupped his fists and said to Shongxin Ci. Shongxin Ci's beautiful eyes flashed, and she re-evaluated Fang Yuan, her voice as gentle as water. My mother said not to judge a book by its cover. Hey Tu, you have given me a vivid lesson. I am really grateful to you. This is 150 yuan stone, it is a thank you gift. 150 yuan stone? Servant girl Xiao Dai was shocked. Miss, why did you give him so much? Fang Yuan took a step back, and righteously rejected. Miss, I am here to repay your kindness, not because of these yuan stones. Please take back the yuan stone, I will not accept this reward. Xiao Dai quickly followed up. Miss, you see, he said he doesn't want it, you should keep it. Shongxin Ci insisted. This is not a reward, it is a thank you gift, it is my thank you gift. Fang Yuan's expression turned serious, and his tone was solemn. Don't mention 100 yuan stone, even if it is 1000 yuan stone, I will not accept it. Miss Zhong, although I am only a mortal, please do not insult me. Is that so? Shongxin Ci was helpless, and could only take back the yuan stone. H, at least you are tactful. Xiao Dai curled her lips. Zhongzhu, who was at the side, was silent, but his gaze was even more complicated. The grace of saving my life is hard to repay. Please allow me to help Miss again. Fang Yuan cupped his fists and said. There were many monkey groups on Bandit Monkey Mountain, and along the trade route, there would be a group of monkeys at fixed intervals, setting up a checkpoint. Since then, Fang Yuan repeatedly made a move, deliberately showing off, winning and losing some. The caravan walked and stopped, and after spending more than 20 days on Bandit Monkey Mountain, they finally left this tall mountain. The caravan's goods were reduced by nearly half, and everyone's mood was inevitably down. Zhong family became the only happy team. Because of Fang Yuan's efforts, their losses were far less than expected. Fang Yuan became famous because of this, and many clans sent servants to find him. They all wanted to recruit Fang Yuan, and gave generous conditions, but Fang Yuan rejected them all, and still stayed in Zhong family. At least you still have some conscience, you did not waste Mrs. treatment of you. Xiao Dai changed her attitude towards Fang Yuan because of this. This little girl was straightforward, and had no subtlety. Her attitude was never in Fang Yuan's consideration. What Fang Yuan cared about was Shongshin Ci, and her guard Jiyu master Zhongzhu. Shongshin Ci was gentle, kind, and intelligent. Jiyu master Zhongzhu was mature and steady, and had abundant experience. Especially the latter, Fang Yuan could already feel that this Zhongzhu was already starting to suspect him. In private, Bai Ningbing also reminded Fang Yuan, "You rejected that 150 yuan stone back then, that was a mistake. With your identity on the surface, how could you not be moved by such a huge sum? To be cautious, we should stop cultivating, and guard against Zhongzhu's secret investigation." But Fang Yuan rejected this suggestion, and continued to cultivate every night. Bai Ningbing also cooperated. She was indifferent towards her identity being exposed, and in fact, she was more than happy to see Fang Yuan fail. Snow Silver Primeval Essence was a huge help to Fang Yuan, and his cultivation speed was as fast as flying. On the night they officially left Feihu Mountain, Fang Yuan advanced from rank 2 initial stage to middle stage. When the travel-worn caravan arrived at the foot of Huangjin Mountain, he also used up the crocodile strength GU, permanently increasing his strength by 1 crocodile. On Huangjin Mountain, there were large numbers of gold mines. The soil on the mountain was rich in gold, and even if one scooped up some sand from the mountain stream, after sifting through it, one could obtain dozens of gold grains. During the day, when sunlight shone on Huangjin Mountain, it would often reflect a layer of hazy golden light. The light shrouded the whole mountain, giving it a splendid and magnificent beauty. If this Huangjin Mountain was placed on Earth, it would definitely cause a reign of terror and war. But in this world, yuan stone was the currency, and gold could only be regarded as a metal mineral. Its greatest use was as a supplementary material for GU refinement. On Huangjin Mountain, there were 2 clans. On the mountain sun, there was Huang clan village. On the mountain shade, there was Jin clan village. One mountain could not accommodate 2 tigers. From Qing Maro Mountain, it could be seen that Huang clan and Jin clan did not have a harmonious relationship. The arrival of the caravan was naturally welcomed by the 2 clans. But the joint notice from the 2 clans also arrived. The caravan could only choose one village. If they chose Huang clan, they could not enter Jin clan. And vice versa. The caravan had many people, and there was a lot of mobility. Previously, the 2 clans had used the caravan to sneak attack each other, thus they issued a strict order. As for which village to go, the caravan leaders had different opinions. They each had their own needs, and after some discussion, this mixed caravan was split into 2, and the 2 groups entered the 2 villages. Of course, they could not enter the village, and the group could only set up camp around the village. Chapter 246. Suspicious. Shang-Xin Siai's gaze moved under her thick eyelashes. Zhongzhu nodded and said solemnly, "In fact, I've been suspicious of them since the day I entered Feihu Mountain. Miss, you have to reward them with 150 yuan stone. Such a huge sum of money, yet they are not moved at all. This is really thought-provoking." He paused and continued, "These days, I've been secretly observing them. I've found more suspicious points. First, they rarely communicate with the servants around them, wishing they could become invisible. Second, they rejected the recruitment of many clans, no matter how good the conditions were. Miss, do you remember how he looked like when he came to seek refuge with us that night? He too has such great strength, how could he be injured like that? Finally, according to my observation, his companion, although dressed as a man, is actually a woman." There was silence in the tent. After a long while, Shang-Xin Siai smiled. "Having great strength doesn't mean you can definitely win against others, right? 2 fists can't fight against 4 hands, it's normal for He Tu to be injured. Actually, I already know about these suspicious points you mentioned." Zhongzhu didn't reveal the slightest surprised expression. He understood Shang-Xin Siai and knew her intelligence. "Miss," Shang-Xin Siai blinked, her gentle and beautiful face revealed a trace of playfulness. "Uncle Zhongzhu, you've been holding it in for many days, right? You realized that I haven't dealt with this matter, so you came to remind me today." Zhongzhu laughed. "Miss, I can't hide anything from you. But why do you always let them stay by your side?" "Because I don't think they have any evil intentions." A light of wisdom flashed in Shang-Xin Siai's eyes. "We suspected them at Feihu Mountain. If they didn't stand up at that time, we wouldn't have seen any suspicious points. But why did they still stand up and help me? This, if they had ulterior motives, they would definitely hide at the side and watch the show, or accept the 150 yuan stone. But they didn't. When He Tu said he wanted to repay, his expression was so sincere that I felt what he said was true. He really wanted to repay this favor." Shang-Xin Siai said. Zhongzhu was speechless. "But they definitely aren't simple, they definitely have a secret." Shang-Xin Siai's smile was like a flower. "Everyone has a secret, I also have a secret. Does having a secret mean that I'm a bad person? The world is bright, and those who know how to repay kindness will have a limit to how bad they can be, right? That being said, I still feel that they have a motive. Maybe they're plotting something. Wait, I know, they must be the gangsters' spies. Sneak into the caravan and cooperate with the Devil Dao to rob it. That doesn't make sense either." Shang-Xin Siai shook her head. "Since he's a spy, he should be even more hidden. Why is there a need to show off in Feihu Mountain? With so many people trying to recruit them, they could easily join other teams. Wouldn't it be easier to hide? Why did he choose to stay with us? I think they must have some difficulties. We help them, and they repay us. Now that they want to hide their identities, I think we should help them again." Zhongzhu shook his head and sighed. "Miss, why are you always thinking for others? You have to know that we can't let our guard down." "Uncle Zhongzhu," Shang-Xin Siai said in a low voice, "if there really is a great calamity, please do not fight to protect the goods. If these goods are lost, then so be it, it's no big deal. My mother's last wish was for me to bring the keepsake to Shongclan City to find a certain person. But she also said, if that person is not willing to accept us, we can only rely on these goods to survive. My mother left in a hurry, and did not clearly state who she wanted me to find. But I think, money is just a worldly possession. Mother has already left me, Uncle Zhongzhu, you and Xiao Dai are my only remaining relatives. I don't want to see anything happen to you. Miss, please don't say that." Zhongzhu's eyes reddened as he choked with sobs. Come, take a look, authentic Shenjiao silk. All kinds of fine wine, I welcome everyone to taste it. Single breath golden light GU, only 50 yuan stone." Hawking sounds rose and fell as people moved about. In this temporary market, it was bustling with noise and excitement. Every time a caravan came, the village would feel like it was welcoming a festival. Not just the caravans, there were also people from Jin clan who came to sell their goods. The most common were large numbers of golden sculptures or utensils. Pots and pans, as well as human and animal sculptures, the carvings were deep and lifelike. Together with red, green, yellow, and blue gems or pearls, they looked even more exquisite. Because of the favorable geographical location of Huangjin Mountain, gold could be found everywhere. The people who lived here, even the servants who did not have clothes to cover their bodies, wore some golden rings, golden necklaces, and so on. Many young girls wore hairpins, earrings, and bracelets, all shining with golden light, beautiful and beautiful. They were in groups of 3 to 5, chatting with each other with a unique charm. As for Jin Clan's Jiu masters, their attire was more or less the same as Qing Maro Mountain. He wore a short-sleeved shirt, long pants, a belt, leggings, and a pair of green bamboo shoes. But some people's leggings were tied with hemp ropes mixed with golden threads. And some belts, cuffs or trouser legs were all inlaid with gold. This was the specialty of Huangjin Mountain. The Jiu masters of southern border clans all wore similar attire. As for demonic Jiu masters, they wore all kinds of strange attire. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing moved through the crowd. They had already found 3 or 4 Jin clan people and bought some milk and goat milk. To feed the bone spear Jiu in his aperture, Fang Yuan had already done his best. But even so, 2/3 of the bone spear Jiu had already starved to death. You are buying so wantonly, aren't you afraid your identity will be exposed? Bai Ningbing expressed her doubts. As long as it is a disguise, it will be exposed one day. I don't mind, but your flaw is too big. Fang Yuan looked at Bai Ningbing and said. Bai Ningbing immediately snorted. She knew where her flaw was, and that was her gender. Back in the village, even the old lady could see it. Women and men had different physiological characteristics. To disguise this, a specific Jiu worm was needed, but Bai Ningbing did not have it. Thus, even if she wore loose clothes, wore a straw hat, painted black, and tied her chest, she could not prevent her identity from being exposed after a long time. Fang Yuan continued, thus, rather than hiding it, it is better to expose some of it. Let them feel that they have seen through many things, and feel that the situation is under their control, that will make them feel more at ease. Exposure was necessary, it was not a bad thing. To get close to them, he had to expose his identity, only then could he gain their trust. Fang Yuan could not take the initiative to lay his cards on the table, it would be too unnatural and not in line with their previous behavior. As long as they found out and probed, Fang Yuan could use this opportunity to expose some things. Bai Ningbing realized, that means, you are intentionally waiting for them to find out, and then make a response. You are finally smart for once. However, after 3 days, the reaction and probing that Fang Yuan was waiting for did not come. Bai Ningbing finally found a chance to mock Fang Yuan, so even you have times where you miscalculate. Fang Yuan coldly snorted, pondering in his heart, from Zhongzhu's expression and actions, I can see that he has long been suspicious. The reason why he did not probe earlier was probably because he could encounter danger on the road, so he endured it. But now that the caravan is relying on the Jin family village, it is very safe, so the probing should have come a long time ago. Unless. In Fang Yuan's heart, Zhongxin Siai's face appeared. What a smart person, and also has courage. She should be the one who stopped Zhongzhu. This is a bit troublesome, it is not good to be too smart. Fang Yuan sighed. Zhongxin Siai's gentleness and kindness were deeply rooted in his heart, causing him to underestimate the girl's intelligence. Zhongxin Siai wanted to reach a tacit understanding between smart people with Fang Yuan. Both of them had a tacit understanding and pretended to be confused. But Fang Yuan's goal was different, this tacit understanding became his obstacle. If that is the case, then I can only take the initiative. Understanding this, Fang Yuan sighed and took the initiative to find Zhongxin Siai. You want to form a partnership with me? Inside the tent, looking at Fang Yuan's intentions, Zhongxin Siai and Zhongzhu's faces revealed a surprised expression. He did not look for them, but they took the initiative to look for him. This was out of the girl's expectations. Zhongzhu's heart was moved. Are you finally going to reveal your foxtail? Partnership. Compete. Miss Zhong, I am ashamed to say this, but we need yuan stone, and I have some experience in business. I want to borrow a batch of goods, and the yuan stone that I earn, How about splitting it 50-50? Fang Yuan slightly bowed, neither servile nor overbearing. Without yuan stone, and being poor, you want to borrow chickens to lay eggs? You are too confident. Zhongzhu's eyes flashed with a cold light. What makes you think that you will definitely earn money? And what makes you think that our Zhong family will definitely lend to you? In business, there will definitely be profits and losses. Of course I will not earn without losses. As for why, maybe it is because I feel that Miss Zhong is a good person, and will lend to me. If you want to ask me the reason, I can only answer you, that is what I feel. If my feeling is wrong, then let's pretend that this never happened. Fang Yuan smiled. He was missing an ear, and his body was full of burn marks, so his smile was somewhat terrifying. But when Shongxin Ci looked into his eyes, she saw a kind of self-confidence, decisiveness, and the brilliance of strategizing. This brilliance, on the contrary, set off a different kind of charm from the ugliness. Really interesting, it seems that he also noticed our suspicions. So, he wants to reach a tacit understanding between smart people? Shongxin Ci's eyes flickered. After a moment, she smiled. This kind of frank communication method made her feel inexplicably safe, and also fresh. If not for you, hey too, I would not even have a quarter of the goods left. They were already snatched away by those monkeys at the Bandit Monkey Mountain. Since you have this idea, then I will leave these goods to you, she said. If the servant girl Xiao Dai was here, she would have immediately made a fuss. Fang Yuan was stunned for a moment, and then bowed to express his thanks. Miss, you are. When Fang Yuan left the tent, Zhongzhu finally could not bear it anymore. Shongxin Ci mischievously blinked, like a child. Isn't this very interesting? Listen to what he said just now, we haven't even done business yet, but he wants to split the profits with me 50-50. This tone, it is as if he will definitely make money. Ph, he is a bore, how much talent does he have? Zhongzhu disdainfully sneered, speaking of business brains, who can compare to you, miss? For so many years, how did you manage your family business, and how did you develop it? This old man still remembers it vividly. If not for those Zhong family people being jealous. Alright, what's the point of talking about the past? Since Uncle Zhongzhu also recognizes my talent, then you should believe me. Even if He Tu loses all these goods, I can still start from scratch, right? Shongxin Ci said. Chapter 247. So many goods, it won't be cheap. At least 50,000 yuan stone. The Jin Clan Jiyu master looked at Fang Yuan suspiciously. After getting permission from Shongxin Ci, Fang Yuan immediately found several Jin Clan Jiyu masters. The person in front of him was already the sixth person. I don't have yuan stone. Fang Yuan shook his head, but I can use my goods to exchange for your goods. Barter. The Jiyu master slightly raised his brows, not very surprised. Bartering was also a common thing, especially in merchant caravans. To him, as long as the value was not too different, bartering was not a loss. Then what goods do you intend to use to exchange? Fang Yuan led him to look at the goods on the spot. Jin Clan's Jiyu master frowned. Your goods are cheaper than mine in the market. But in this Golden Mountain, you can sell them for a good price, right? Fang Yuan laughed. The Jin Clan Jiyu master frowned even more. If the price is set too high, it won't sell anymore. Then sell them slowly, there will be a day when they are all sold out. Rare goods are more valuable, at that time, you can just sit at home and collect money. Fang Yuan smiled. The Jiyu master laughed heartily, he said so much just to lower the price, but his heart was already moved. You are not bad. Although you are a mortal, you are neither servile nor overbearing. I have 3 shops, are you interested in helping me? I will give you the status of a shopkeeper, we can discuss the salary. The Jiyu master patted Fang Yuan's shoulder. Fang Yuan tactfully refused, making this Jiyu master feel some regret. Hey Tu, what the hell are you doing? After this transaction, Xiao Dai ran over with a cold expression. You actually exchanged all of Missy's goods. What are you trying to do? You are too daring. Xiao Dai stomped her feet in anger. Don't you know, our goods are all carefully selected by Missy. If we transport them to Shongclan City, we can sell them for double the price. Quick, exchange them back. Fang Yuan's expression turned cold. Your missy has already lent all her goods to me. In other words, these goods are all mine. I'm handling my own goods, what's wrong with that? Fang Yuan glanced at Little Butterfly with a cold glint in his eyes. Xiao Dai shuddered and felt her heart skip a beat. Fang Yuan decided to expose himself a little more. This was the first time he spoke to Little Butterfly without any pretense. Xiao Dai was originally eloquent, but at this moment, there was a chill in her heart. I'll tell miss, just you wait. She tried her best to hide her inner emotions, but she still ran away in a panic. Of course, her snitch did not cause any trouble to Fang Yuan. However, the servants that Shang Xin Ci brought also had a lot of opinions about Fang Yuan's actions. Many people discussed in private, thinking that He too had gone mad. Fang Yuan knew the value of the original goods, which also made him realize Shang Xin Ci's business talent. However, this was the first time the latter was doing business. Although he had talent, he lacked experience. Merchants did not simply transport goods to the terminal and earn a profit from the price difference. A real expert merchant earned money along the way. It was to use a keen eye to discover business opportunities in time, to be familiar with the specialties of each famous mountain and the needs of each big family, to establish a network of relationships and benefit from both sides. Of course, these requirements were too high for Shang Xin Ci. After all, she was only 16 years old this year. Although she had talent, she was still a young girl. In Fang Yuan's previous life, he spent nearly 100 years doing business. He had mixed into a caravan and served as a leader. He had opened a shop and a stone gambling shop. He had also held an auction. In terms of experience and vision, the leaders and deputy leaders in the caravan were not even worthy of carrying Fang Yuan's shoes. Not to mention Shang Xin Ci, who had just started doing business. There is still some distance to Shongliang Mountain. If I operate wholeheartedly, I can at least increase the value of this batch of goods by 7 or 8 times. This multiplier was already quite terrifying. Any higher, and Fang Yuan could not do it. Due to all kinds of practical conditions, 7 or 8 times was already the highest standard in this world. Of course, if I use illegal methods, not to mention 7 or 8 times, even 70 or 80 times is easy. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan could not help but think of a poem from his previous life. The law-abiding worries every day, the strong man sings happily every night, harming others to benefit oneself rides horses and mules, the upright and fair starve. Repairing bridges and roads is blind, killing and arson are many, I go to heaven and ask Buddha, Buddha says, I have no choice. The so-called system and laws are all used to oppress the masses and restrict the weak. No matter which world, it is the law of the jungle. Thus, even in the era of law, there were countless influential people who used loopholes in the system to escape the punishment of the law. Not to mention this GU master world where strength speaks the loudest. In Fang Yuan's previous life, he had painstakingly built up a fortune of close to 10 million and countless businesses. Then, he was casually annexed by the strong, going bankrupt and living on the streets. For the next 400 years, whenever he thought of it, he would be extremely glad that he had this experience. Thanks to hardship, it taught people the truth. It was this experience that woke him up, and all kinds of restrictions that he had been brainwashed into on earth were shattered. People were often deceived not because of the scene in front of them, but because of the shackles in their hearts. To Fang Yuan, if he abided by business ethics, as a proper merchant, he could at most earn 7 or 8 times. If he used some illegal methods and became a bad merchant, he could earn 10 times more. If he abandoned his duty and swindled to his heart's content, becoming an unscrupulous merchant, he could earn 10 times more. If he directly killed and looted, he did not even need to use capital. A business with no capital was always the most profitable, but Fang Yuan's current business had other motives. Thus, he could not use any illegal methods. This made him feel like his hands and feet were tied. However, on the night before the caravan was about to set off, a Jin clan GU master secretly came to find him. I have a private transaction, are you interested? This GU master was one of the people who had bartered with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan did not mind at first, but after 5 minutes, he changed his mind. You are saying, someone wants to sell Jinzan grass? He was extremely astonished, even suspecting that he had heard wrongly. Jinzan grass could not be replaced by other materials for Jin clan. It was an extremely important strategic resource. Because of its refinement material, Jin clan could refine large amounts of golden silkworm GU. Now, someone actually wanted to sell it. In Fang Yuan's memories, it was because Jin clan had a large amount of rank 3 golden silkworm GU that their strength increased greatly, allowing them to eliminate Huang clan and dominate a region. Wait a moment, Huang clan still exists now. That is to say, Jin clan has not completed the incomplete recipe for the golden silkworm GU? That's not right. According to this period of time, they should have made some progress. Otherwise, why would they plant large amounts of Jinzan grass? Fang Yuan's thoughts flashed like lightning. He purposely probed, my goods are almost finished. Jinzan grass is an uncommon material, although it is rare, very few people need it. Seeing Fang Yuan show signs of rejection, that GU master immediately became anxious. This price is negotiable, we can discuss it properly. Fang Yuan's gaze flashed, seeing that the other party was in a hurry, he continued to try to lower the price. After a few rounds of bargaining, the price of Jinzan grass was pushed to its lowest point, a tragic sight to behold. The other GU master's face turned pale, his expression also turning ugly, his tone becoming impatient. You win, we'll go with this price, can we make the deal? This price was very low, much lower than the cost of cultivating Jinzan grass itself. If he sold it, it could be said that he would lose everything. Jin clan's GU master also understood this, his heart bleeding secretly. Fang Yuan also knew this was his limit, but he shook his head. This price is too low, honestly speaking, I don't really believe your attitude. Jin clan's GU master immediately scolded, you bastard, you were the one who pushed the price down, and now you're saying it's too low? Fang Yuan spread his arms, you said it yourself, this is a private transaction, there is no proof of delivery. If you sell me fake goods, who can I reason with? Look, the caravan is leaving tomorrow. By then, even if I suffer a loss, I will have to leave. Your suspicions are true. Jin clan's GU master's anger subsided, don't worry about the goods, they are 100% genuine. I'll tell you the truth, this was secretly taken out by my young master to sell. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with brilliance. At this point, he had finally obtained some useful information. He purposely exclaimed, your young master stole it. This Jinzan grass is actually the clan leader's favorite plant, thus he specially planted 3 mu of it. Who asked our clan leader to have such a special hobby? So you don't have to worry, the Jinzan grass is not something important, even if the son was found out, he would only be beaten and scolded. The GU master said. Fang Yuan heard this and immediately understood. So it was like this. Jin clan had always been determined to restore the golden silkworm GU recipe. At this time, they already had some ideas and knew the importance of the Jinzan grass, thus they planted 3 mu of it. However, to prevent the Huang clan from noticing this information was restricted to the higher-ups of the clan. Even the young master did not know. He only thought that the Jinzan grass was planted by the clan leader for fun. The Jinzan grass took a long time to nurture, usually requiring 4 years to mature from a seedling. In his memory, the Jin clan attacked a year later. The rank 3 golden silkworm goose attacks were sharp, eliminating the Huang clan and starting to dominate Huang Jin Mountain. If these 3 mu of Jinzan grass were gone, the market would not be able to obtain such a large amount. Then the Jin clan would have to delay for several years to eliminate the Huang clan. Chapter 248. Daybreak. The east was about to break, the first rays of the morning sun appeared. The cold air of the night condensed into dew drops, remaining on the grass. Jin clan's temporary market was being dismantled. The tents were put away, the carpets on the ground were rolled up. The goods were wrapped and reloaded. After staying in Jin clan for a few days, the caravan prepared to set off again. To the merchants, no matter how many goods they sold or bought, they would still make a profit. Thus, although many people looked tired, they were filled with joy and smiles. Xiao Dai's expression was extremely ugly. Miss, I just checked, That He-Tu almost exchanged all the goods. Among them, I actually saw 3 carts full of Jinzan grass. Jinzan grass? Shongshin Ci heard this and frowned. Xiao Dai was furious. She pulled Shongshin Ci's arm and said, "Even an outsider like me knows that Jinzan grass cannot be sold." But he still exchanged so much. "Miss, this He-Tu is messing around. Xiao Dai, calm down first, don't be impatient." Shongshin Ci patted Xiao Dai's hand. "These Jinzan grass should have been exchanged by him last night, I did not know. However, the other goods that he traded for had a certain logic to them as well. Think about it, it is already not bad for a mortal like him to be able to do this. Miss, why are you speaking up for him? I am doing this for your own good. These goods are originally ours, why should we let an outsider squander them away? Most importantly, he can't afford it. Lord Zhongzhu, why don't you persuade Miss?" Xiao Dai pouted. Zhongzhu sighed. "Miss, Xiao Dai's words make sense. Lending them to him earlier was to test him. Now that we have seen through him, why should we let him continue? We all believe in Miss ability, but if we can reduce our losses, why not try to do so? When we reach Shongclan City, we will be able to struggle less." This. Shongshin Ci pondered. She was still young, hesitation flashed in her eyes. Previously, she felt that the goods Fang Yuan exchanged were reasonable. But this Jinzan grass, exchanging for so much Jinzan grass was definitely the biggest mistake. Jinzan grass might be easy to preserve, but there was little demand, it could not be sold. Hoarding so much in one go, sooner or later it would rot in one's hands. In the end, he had no choice but to lower the price and sell it. It could be said that he was destined to lose money. "Excuse me, are you Miss Zhongshin Ci?" Right at this time, a middle-aged male GU master with sweat all over his forehead ran towards Shongshin Ci with an anxious expression. Looking at the metal token on his belt, he was a rank 2 GU master. Shongshin Ci smiled. "Yes, I am. May I know who you are?" The middle-aged man cupped his fists and said, "I am the personal guard of the Patriarch. I have a presumptuous request on the orders of the Patriarch." "Oh, please go ahead." "Sir, you should have purchased a large batch of Jinzan grass last night. The whole story is like this. Our Patriarch loves Jinzan grass, so he personally raised some to admire them. Unfortunately, the young lord secretly dug it up and traded it behind the Patriarch's back. Right now, the clan leader had already confined the young lord. At the same time, I want to redeem the Jinzan grass that I sold to Miss. I beg Miss to let go of it." The personal guard GU master spoke politely, but there was a hard edge in the soft tone, showing his resolute attitude. "Miss." Zhongzhu's expression was solemn, and he could not help but remind her. The personal guard GU master represented the Jin clan leader. This matter could be big or small, and if it was not handled properly, it would be very serious. Shongshin Ci glanced at Zhongzhu and nodded, expressing her understanding. "I understand your Patriarch's feelings. Actually, I am also a flower lover. I will definitely give all the Jinzan grass to you, not keeping a single one." Miss is understanding and reasonable, it is truly a joyous thing. The personal guard GU master's expression relaxed, showing a smile. Shongshin Ci continued, "This transaction was handled by one of my subordinates. I will call him over now." Fang Yuan had already been paying attention to the commotion here. "He-Tu, you are in trouble, Miss is calling you over." Xiao Dai came to call him. Fang Yuan rushed to the personal guard and cupped his fists. "I am in charge of the purchase of Jinzan grass, I heard your Patriarch wants to buy it back?" The personal guard GU master saw that the person who came was not a GU master but a mortal. After a moment of astonishment, his face showed slight disdain and arrogance. He snorted, "That's right. Mortal, be happy. Lord Clan Leader is generous and benevolent, he is willing to use 3,000 yuan stone to buy back your 3 carts of Jinzan grass." "So much?" At the side, Xiao Dai was shocked, showing obvious joy in her eyes. Zhongzhu's tightly furrowed brows also gradually relaxed. 3,000 yuan stone should be the highest market price for Jinzan grass. This showed the Jin clan leader's sincerity. But Fang Yuan shook his head. "Jinzan grass is extremely precious, only 3,000 yuan stone to buy it back, isn't this too insincere? The personal guard immediately frowned. What? According to the market price of Jinzan grass, this is the highest price. Mortal, what price are you buying it for? Fang Yuan rubbed his nose. Let's not talk about the price, we are all businessmen, we naturally have to buy low and sell high. 3,000 yuan stone is too little, not selling. You. The personal guard clenched his teeth, stretched out his palm and spread his 5 fingers. Fine, then I'll raise it by 2,000 yuan stone, 5,000 yuan stone. Xiao Dai was shocked. She looked at the 5 fingers stretched out by the personal guard, her face quickly turned red with excitement. 5,000 yuan stone? This is what you said, you can't go back on your word. She was so happy that she almost jumped up. She did not expect things to turn out this way. Fang Yuan had already made a profit. But Fang Yuan still shook his head. The personal guard's face turned cold and threatened. Mortal, don't you think you are being greedy? These Jinzan grass originally belonged to my clan. The two of you are not allowed to make private deals. Without proof of transaction, I can even say that you secretly stole the Jinzan grass. The personal guard's anger made Zhongzhu's heart jump. He looked at Fang Yuan. If you can sell it, then sell it. Fang Yuan laughed. You sell it and I buy it, it is a mutual agreement. What's more, it was your young master who sold it to me. If you insist that it was theft, then I can't do anything about it. Jin clan is powerful, they can bully the weak and directly snatch it back. Here, the goods are over there, you can take it. But as far as I know, I am not the only one who bought the Jinzan grass. Many people have a share, is the Jin clan going to snatch it as well? Fang Yuan had already expected this situation, thus he only bought a large portion last night. The remaining Jinzan grass was sold by that Jiyu master to others. You. The personal guard was furious, but under Fang Yuan's pressure, he could only clench his teeth. He pointed at Fang Yuan. Your clan bought the most. Brat, are you trying to embarrass me? Of course not, I only want to complete this transaction. Fang Yuan cupped his fists. Page, forget it. Then add another 2,000 yuan stone, 7,000. Mortal, bring all the Jinzan grass you bought here. The personal guard shouted. Hey too, there is no harm in selling it. As a businessman, harmony brings wealth. Shongshin Ci couldn't bear the pressure any longer. Since Miss has said so. Fang Yuan nodded, before changing the topic, then I will take a step back. 8,000 yuan stone, you can buy all the Jinzan grass I have. Once he said this, Shongshin Ci and the rest's expressions froze. The personal guard reacted, unable to restrain his anger. What? You scoundrel. Fang Yuan smiled. Business is business, Lord Jiyu Master, please don't be angry. Actually, I wanted to buy 10,000 yuan stone. If Lord cannot make the decision, why don't I talk to your clan leader? No need. The personal guard waved his hand, looking at Fang Yuan with extreme disgust. You are a mortal, what qualifications do you have to meet Lord clan leader? Quickly scram and take the goods, I will remember you taking advantage of others when they are down. This was no doubt agreeing to Fang Yuan's price increase. Soon, both sides completed the transaction. Fang Yuan used goods worth less than 500 yuan stone, and in just one night, he exchanged them for 8,000 yuan stone. Miss, 2 chests full of yuan stone. Xiao Dai beamed with joy. During the entire transaction, she was trembling in fear, but now that she saw the yuan stone, she felt everything was worth it. Even her gaze towards Fang Yuan changed. Did you already know that? No, it should be a blind cat bumping into a dead mouse. She sized up Fang Yuan and evaluated. Doing this will offend Jin clan, a mere 8,000 yuan stone is not worth it. Zhongzhu frowned, he looked at Fang Yuan with some dissatisfaction and warned, don't take such risks in the future. Fang Yuan smiled, turning towards Shang Xin. According to the original agreement, half of these 8,000 yuan stone will go to Miss. My share of yuan stone, please help me take care of it. Is everything settled? Jin clan leader stood on the hill, looking at the caravan leaving. An elder stood beside him and reported, yes, clan leader. The Jinzan grass that was sold has been bought back. But Zhong clan took the chance to extort us, truly hateful. Jin clan leader raised his eyebrows. Oh? Tell me. The elder explained in detail. Jin clan leader laughed, a mere 8,000 yuan stone, don't worry about it. That Miss Zhong, on the other hand, has some intelligence, using a mortal slave to test the waters, allowing her to earn this sum of money. Lord clan leader, I am worried that Zhong clan already knows our clan's secret, thus taking the chance to extort us. He, don't be so suspicious. If they knew the importance of the Jinzan grass to our clan, how could they only extort 8,000 yuan stone? Either they buy it all, or they don't buy it at all. But, just in case, send GU masters to keep an eye on them until they leave Huangjin Mountain. See if anyone sneaks into Huang clan village. If there is, kill them on the spot. Saying so, Jin clan leader revealed his killing intent. The elder's heart shuddered. Yes, Lord clan leader. Taking one last look at the golden mountain behind him, Fang Yuan turned around with a smile on his face. Chapter 249. The caravan traveled west, crossing mountains and ridges. Half a month later, Fang Yuan and the others arrived at Soulwood Mountain, which was eerie and quiet with withered trees. He sold a small portion of his goods and bought a lot of special wood. 20 days later, they arrived at Giant Rain Mountain. The Giant Rain Mountain was full of potholes. These were all big holes made by the raindrops. When it rained here, each raindrop was as big as a wine jar and had a huge impact. Thus, the Tong family village on Giant Rain Mountain was built in the hollow of the mountain. If it was built in the open, it would be destroyed by the raindrops after a few rains. In the Tong family village, the golden oil lamps that Fang Yuan bought from Golden Mountain were very popular. During their stay, it rained 3 times. Fang Yuan collected many blue oil raindrops because of this. These raindrops were a type of material that had a wide range of uses. These huge raindrops were a disaster for the Tong family village, forcing them to live inside the mountain. But they were also natural treasures and were their main commodity. After leaving Giant Rain Mountain, the caravan arrived at Square Brick Mountain. The stones on this mountain were very special. Every piece was in the shape of a brick, but they varied in size and thickness. The Dafeng family had lived on Square Brick Mountain for thousands of years and was a large family. Their residences were much better than the Tong family village and were made of bricks and tiles. The village was surrounded by tall walls. There were towers inside the walls and blockhouses outside the walls. Fang Yuan remembered that the Dafeng family had an eccentric elder who liked wood carvings. After contacting him, he learned that all of the grotesquely shaped soul trees that he had purchased from the Soulwood Mountain had been purchased by this family elder. Just like that, under Fang Yuan's control, the Zhong family's goods increased and decreased. But every time there was a change, they would earn huge profits. As the number of times increased, it naturally attracted the attention of others. Fang Yuan pushed everything to Shang Xin, and Shang Xin's talent in business gradually spread. Time passed. After passing by 4 more villages, the caravan gradually approached Howling Moon Mountain. That night, the caravan set up camp with their backs against a cliff. We have already entered Howling Moon Mountain. The next part of the journey will be barren mountains, filled with insects and beasts, there are no villages. From tonight onwards, everyone must be on guard. The Jiao clan leader instructed. The vice leaders in the tent nodded. Shongxin Ci's eyes brightened. This was the most dangerous part of the trade route up to this point. After this, they would reach Blood Tear Mountain. After a few more villages, they would reach Shongliang Mountain's Shongclan city. Alright, next is to arrange the defensive positions for this week. The Jiao clan leader said. An hour later, everyone finished their discussion and walked out of their tents. Zhongzhu went up to her. Miss, dinner is ready. Are we inviting Hei too and Bai Yun over? Of course. Shongxin Ci nodded and said, I'm going to ask him for advice on how to be a merchant during the banquet. These days, Fang Yuan earned more than he lost. He sold the goods and earned 5 to 6 times the profit. Xiao Shong, Chen, Shan. Xiao, Fang Yuan, Lin, Snow. According to the agreement, Fang Yuan gave half of his profits to Shongxin Ci. But in Shongxin Ci's heart, how could a mere yuan stone compare to Fang Yuan's business experience and insights? She had no cultivation talent and was only a mortal. Business was the ability she was most proud of. Yet, in this field that she was proud of, Fang Yuan's strength made Shongxin Ci admit that she was far inferior to Fang Yuan. Many of the seemingly absurd decisions showed shocking results in the subsequent transactions. Shongxin Ci was not a person who gave up on herself. After understanding the gap between her and Fang Yuan, she would invite Fang Yuan to a banquet every day. Just a few pointers from Fang Yuan would benefit her greatly. She was extremely talented in business. Like a sponge absorbing water, she grew rapidly. The more she interacted with Fang Yuan, the more she admired him. Sigh, young lady, you have to be careful. These two people obviously have a story. They are not ordinary people. Zhongzhu sighed, his eyes revealed a worried expression. He was afraid that Shongxin Ci would sink deeper and deeper. Don't worry, Uncle Zhongzhu, I know what I'm doing. Shongxin Ci was indeed intelligent. She never talked about other things with Fang Yuan, only business. He would not beat around the bush when he spoke, nor would he beat around the bush. She felt that although Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were mysterious, they were not dangerous. Fang Yuan relied on proper methods to do business, and never reneged on his debts. Every profit he made, he would split it 50/50ths with Shongxin Ci. This kind of behavior invisibly gave Shongxin Ci a sense of security. But tonight's banquet, Fang Yuan did not accept. I feel a bit tired today, so I won't be going. He waved his hand and said to Xiao Dai, who came to invite him. Not every time Shongxin Ci invited him to a banquet, Fang Yuan would nod. Out of 3 banquets, Fang Yuan would only go once. Xiao Dai pouted, looked at Fang Yuan resentfully, mumbled a few words, then left. Previously, when Fang Yuan refused, Xiao Dai made a few noises, feeling indignant for her young lady. But as Fang Yuan earned more and more, Xiao Dai's attitude also changed. She was never indignant, but became accommodating and helpless. No matter what world, no matter what level, people with strength will always be respected. As Fang Yuan closed the tent, Bai Ningbing was already sitting cross-legged on one of the beds. In the darkness, her blue eyes glowed faintly. Previously, when Fang Yuan refused Xiao Dai, she was a bit surprised. But after a few times, Bai Ningbing realized the beauty of this. As the saying goes, those who are unaccountably solicitous are hiding evil intentions. Fang Yuan refusing the invitation, not accommodating Shongxin Ci, would instead make the young lady feel that Fang Yuan had nothing to ask of her. Let's begin. Fang Yuan also sat cross-legged on the bed, with his back facing Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing's palms were placed on Fang Yuan's back, and 10% of her snow-silver primeval essence poured into Fang Yuan's body. Bone-flesh unity GU flashed with green-red light, and through its conversion, 6% of the snow-silver primeval essence entered Fang Yuan's aperture. Swish, swish, swish. Fang Yuan sank into his mind and concentrated, activating this primeval essence to cleanse his aperture's walls. When he was rank 1, his aperture could not endure such a huge cleansing force. But now that he was rank 2 middle stage, his aperture walls were deep enough to withstand the continuous cleansing of the snow-silver primeval essence. It was just that the duration could not be too long, and he needed to rest every once in a while. Water-like light fluctuated on the aperture walls, circulating. The pure white light continued to strengthen, and some places were already showing signs of solidification. Evidently, Fang Yuan was already one step away from rank 2 upper stage. Fang Yuan had rich cultivation experience, and knew what to do. He planned to strike while the iron was hot, and charge to rank 2 upper stage tonight. Time passed, and unknowingly, it was already late at night. Howl. Suddenly, a wolf king's howl could be heard. The howl broke the silence of the camp, and soon after, countless wolf howls could be heard, responding to their king. Wolf attack, wolf attack. Damn it, wake up, there is a wolf group attacking the camp. So many wolves, there are simply too many to count. Many people shouted in fear, and the camp woke up in a short period of time, before erupting in excitement. From this commotion, it seems the wolf group is quite large. Bai Ningbing listened for a while, before smiling. On the journey of the merchants, they had encountered several beast groups attacks. After experiencing it, she was no longer surprised. This is Howling Moon Mountain. Some people say all the wolves in southern border live here. When the moon is full, the wolf group will look up at the full moon, and their howls can resound throughout the entire mountain, rising and falling continuously. But this is the first night, and we already encountered a wolf group. Our luck is not too good. Fang Yuan opened his eyes slightly, multitasking, and did not stop cultivating in his aperture. Damn it, there are too many wolves. Healing GU Master, where are the healing GU Masters? My father is injured, he is losing a lot of blood. The southeast defensive line has been broken through, quickly go and provide support. The situation was much more serious than Bai Ningbing had expected. From the moment they discovered the wolf group, in just a few minutes, one of the defensive lines in the camp was broken through, and the wolf group had entered the camp. Take up your weapons, and fight these beasts. The miserable cries of the servants, the sounds of battle, and the shouts could be heard continuously. Are we going out? Bai Ningbing asked. Go out for what? What can you do? Don't forget your current status. After a while, Fang Yuan absent-mindedly replied. But the wolf group has already charged over, the goods you just bought will suffer losses. Bai Ningbing laughed, her tone filled with schadenfreude. Then let's just suffer losses. Fang Yuan closed his eyes again. After a while, servant Xiao Dai's voice came from outside the tent. Hey Tu. Are you two here? What's the matter? Bai Ningbing asked. Heavens, you two are really here? Such a huge commotion and you two were not woken up. Many wolves have charged into the camp, although the situation is under control. What if one or two escaped? Young Miss asked me to call you over. With Lord Zhongzhu's protection, it will be very safe over there. Xiao Dai shouted. No need. Since the situation is under control, let's not disturb your young miss. One or two wolves, with my strength, I can still deal with them. Fang Yuan said. Xiao Dai urged a few times, but was still rejected. Finally, she angrily stomped her feet outside the tent. You really can't appreciate my kindness, don't blame me for not reminding you two when you die. After saying this, she hurriedly left. The wolf group continued to attack for 15 minutes before retreating. The size of the caravan was reduced to less than half of its original size. But after this cruel elimination and training, the caravan had the temperament of an elite. This is the most difficult time in my many years of doing business. These wild beasts, why are they attacking so frequently? After this trip, I will retire. No matter what, we need to re-evaluate the risk of this trade route. The main reason is because these mountains are uninhabited. Without a village to guard and clean up, these wild beasts are growing without restraint. Some sighed, some were disheartened, and some still had hope. But bad luck seemed to be entangled with this caravan. In the following journey, not only were there attacks from all kinds of beasts, there were also many insects and wild GU worms. The caravan's numbers dwindled. People no longer cared about profits and losses. They started to feel the pressure of life and death. Many goods were voluntarily abandoned in pursuit of speed. The sunset filled the sky, and the setting sun was like blood. The caravan passed through the forest. Everyone was silent, their expressions were tired and numb, and their morale was low. Many of them were wrapped in bandages and had injuries of varying severity. On the bumpy mountain path, they moved forward step by step. It had rained yesterday, and the mountain path was muddy and slippery. A handcart loaded with goods had its right wheel stuck in the mud. The ostrich pulling the cart raised its neck and neighed. It tried its best to move, but it could not move. At this time, 2 hands were placed on the back of the cart, and with a strong lift, the wheel was lifted out of the mud. The one who did it was Fang Yuan. He clapped his hands casually. The goods that weighed thousands of kilograms were not heavy in his hands. However, even though the cart was out of the mud, the wheel was stuck and could not move. Bai Ningbing bent down and inspected the cart's wheel. After being in the caravan for so long, she had learned many things to disguise her identity, and had completely assimilated into the caravan. What is this? She stretched out her hand and touched the cart's axle, her eyes flashing with suspicion. There seemed to be something hidden at the grinding point of the cart's axle. As the wheels moved forward, it was continuously ground into black powder. This fine powder fell to the ground and could not be seen clearly. Bai Ningbing touched it with her hand. Her hand was covered in this fine powder, and when she rubbed it, the powder turned into a layer of grease. Oh, this is the oil powder I added to the wheel. It can lubricate it and make the cart move more smoothly. Fang Yuan walked over and took out a cotton handkerchief. He grabbed Bai Ningbing's hand and wiped it clean. Then, he squatted down and touched it with his hand. The wheel could move again. Let's go. He wiped off the oil powder in his hand and patted Bai Ningbing's shoulder with a smile. The two continued forward. Bai Ningbing walked slower and slower. The doubts in her heart rose, forming a thick and undispellable fog. She felt that something was wrong. When did Fang Yuan make this oil powder? Why didn't I know? Was it at the beginning, or at Mount Huang or Howling Moon Mountain? Strange, he had never cared about the caravan. He did not even frown when the caravan suffered so many losses. How could he be so meticulous and even notice a small problem like the cart's lubrication? Strange, strange. Wait a minute. Suddenly, a lightning-fast thought flashed through Bai Ningbing's mind. In that instant, her body shook, and her pupils shrank to the size of a needle. A possibility echoed in her mind like a voice in a deep valley. She stopped on the spot, and her heart was filled with shock. After a long time, an ostrich that had been walking past her suddenly cried out. This sound woke her up. Fang Yuan's figure was already far away, and he was about to disappear into the crowd in front of him. This fellow. Bai Ningbing lowered her head. Under the shadow of the straw hat, her blue eyes shone with a cold light. The sun had completely set, and the stars gradually appeared in the night sky. The caravan stopped at a riverbank and decided to camp here for the night. However, just as they were halfway through setting up the camp, a group of cold jade owlcats appeared near the camp. There's a herd of owlcats. Stop your work immediately and form a defensive formation. These damned beasts, I only had one bite of my dinner, the people cursed as they ran around. Benefiting from the previous ordeal and training, the caravan quickly formed 3 tight defensive lines. The cold jade owlcat had the body of a leopard, and was extremely agile. Its face was like an owl's. A pair of huge eyes took up almost half of its face, and shone with an eerie green light in the darkness. The owlcat king screeched in pain, and the owlcats swarmed towards the camp like a tide. Kill! The GU masters at the front line shouted. At once, multicolored lights flashed, flames burned, rocks flew, lightning flashed, countless owlcats fell in the attack, but more and more came forward. Oh heavens, this is a large group of cold jade owlcats. Someone shouted. Ah, save me. Somewhere in the defensive line could not hold on any longer. A GU master was pounced on by 3 owlcats. His screams stopped, and blood splattered. Quick, block that gap. 2 GU masters were sent as reinforcements. But it was useless, the gap was getting bigger, and the entire defensive line was affected. Retreat, retreat. Without a choice, everyone retreated to the second defensive line. In the intense battle, the situation fell into a deadlock. Link the handcart and the carriages together, and stack the goods together to form a tall wall. After the second defensive line, the third defensive line was being built urgently. Large numbers of servants were moving the goods, and were sweating profusely. No one could slack off. Fang Yuan carried a huge wooden box, and Bai Ningbing suddenly walked over and placed her hand on his other side. On the surface, she seemed to be helping Fang Yuan, but in fact, she moved closer to Fang Yuan's ear and gritted her teeth. You lured this group of cold jade owlcats here, right? Fang Yuan seemed to be shocked. Why do you say that? Stop pretending. Those powders are very strange. I don't believe a person like you would be so kind as to consider these minor details. Bai Ningbing suppressed her voice. Hey, you finally found out. Fang Yuan did not deny it. Bai Ningbing could not help but grind her teeth. So the frequent attacks on the caravan were all because of Fang Yuan's contributions. The two carried a wooden box, moving slowly. The people around them moved back and forth, shouting and shouting. All of their attention was focused on this ambush. No one paid attention to Fang and Bai's whispers. Why did you do this? After a while of silence, Bai Ningbing asked. Hee hee. Fang Yuan laughed. Guess? Chapter 251. Bai Ningbing resisted this impulse and squinted her eyes. She was after all intelligent and thought of some things. What does Zhong and Chen have that is worth putting in so much effort? The atmosphere was tense. She thought Fang Yuan was lusting after Zhong Xi's beauty. Leader Zhong, now you're lying through this thought. We all know how many experts your Zhou family has benefits would make him go through so much trouble. But after being together for so many days, Bai Ningbing already understood what about your Chen family background. She was ostracized by Zhong clan and was immortal with no cultivation aptitude. Lin family's vice leader walked over was indeed as beautiful as a flower. In the end, but this kind of appearance was not a strength parted on bad terms, but a weakness. Even this appearance would attract the demonic claws of greed and evil. Aunt Zhou family and she did not have the strength to protect herself. If not for the loyal rank 3 everyone is in danger beside her. She would have been captured about how to preserve their family strength. What was the value how good the relationship is? Her business talent was nothing according to the latest news. The two young masters of Zhou family are quarreling. Fang Yuan did not reply to Bai Ning sided with Zhou You two over there, so that's faster. It. Don't dawdle. Lord Jiolong not far away, a GU master pointed no wonder he doesn't have a good attitude towards Fang and Bai quickened their pace as Bai Ningbing lowered her voice softly. Aren't you afraid of being exposed? Heart moved. If someone several days later, the caravan, these people's morale was low until you advanced to Xiong Then did they find out? Xiong Yuan towered into the clouds, with large numbers of elephants down the wooden chest and walked. The climate here was to eliminate his suspicions. From the foot of the mountain to the waist of the mountain, goods it was hot and humid, filled with rainforest. After several beast from the waist of the mountain to the peak, goods were the most damaged. Snow covered the area. Many people sympathized with Zhong. Everyone was very careful. Had looked for Fang Yuan. What made them happy was that in the few days they had been in Xiong mountain, they had not been realized by any beast Fang Yuan seemed to have my good luck finally here. The truly valuable goods were still kept until now. It's about time. These goods accounted for more than half of the value of the goods, and his losses have to pay a lot of money this time. His methods were extremely secretive. Be content. If she did not discover it by chance, that we managed to keep our lives. After Xiong Mountain, Ningbe Mountain, and Shuangjiang this guy, we even hid our village. The two Once of them we get picked up another box. Sleep for 3 days Fang and 3 Yuan nights. Seemed to know what everyone talked at once, thinking, looking towards chuckled. The future. To deceive the enemy, rose it's slightly. Best to start by deceiving your own people. One person raised his head I didn't mean to hide it from white falling from the sky. You have your uses. Nonsense. Oh, this is the foot of Xiong Mountain. Ningbing couldn't help but ask. Someone did not believe it. You're the closest person to me. His expression if you found froze. Something fishy, it's really then snowing. The others should have as well. This is not snow. It was a coincidence today that someone suddenly shouted. Shook his head. Many GU masters in the caravan also represent certain trends. White feathers. It's about time. White feather flying elephants' eyes lit right up. At this time. What do you want? A strong wind blew and the white feathers flew. The cold jade owlcats did not manage to reach hundreds of elephants trumpeted and flew down from the second line of defense, charging towards the caravan on the invading owlcats. Damn it! After the battle, the survivors counted the casualties. How did we clean up the battlefield? They should be living. How many times has this horde of beasts attacked? Get into formation. I want to go home. Quickly get into formation. My luck this time is too bad. But it was too late. Should we continue forward? The elephant group charged down. Maybe it's a good idea everywhere they went and wait people for the other caravans to help their feet. Everyone's white feather flying elephants had white feathers all over their bodies. They felt that the future was uncertain and did not want to continue forward. The huge impact made them invincible, and other emotions permeated the entire camp. Leader just one attack from the elephant group took away the lives of over 100 people every time. Many servants were trampled into meat paste. Vice leader carriages were pierced by the elephant fair and just, and 3 black skin family is the strongest. In an instant. Now that we're in the same boat, ostriches we're helping everywhere. Capable people do more work. For a moment, naturally, the scene was extremely chaotic. We have to take on more responsibilities. GU masters, the sudden quarrel attracted the attention of many people. Jiolong shouted from the crowd. But he had just gathered over 10 people when the elephant group charged down again, scattering the GU masters. The elephant group flew into the sky and started to prepare for the third attack. Sigh. Jiolong heaved a long sigh, knowing there was little hope of a counterattack. He could only shout, "Everyone escape, escape to the surrounding rainforest." Needless to say, many people had already charged into the rainforest. But the white feather flying elephant's charge was extremely strong, and as they charged into the rainforest, the trees were instantly broken and countless people were trampled by the elephants. These flying elephants looked holy and elegant, but their nature was extremely bloodthirsty. Ang! A flying elephant aimed at Zhongxin Ci and the others, charging down like a meteor. Miss, run! I will lure it away. At the crucial moment, Zhongzhu stepped forward and shot out a red light, hitting the flying elephant. The flying elephant was furious, turning around and aiming at Zhongzhu. Zhongzhu was a healing Jiyu master, his attack and defense were not strong, and he fled in a sorry state in the rainforest. The flying elephant charged, bringing with it a loud whistling sound. Zhongzhu sprinted and threw himself forward in time. The flying elephant heavily crashed into his back, breaking several trees and scattering white feathers all over the ground. So close. Zhongzhu wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, and just as he got up, his vision turned black. Bam! A thick tree trunk was swung by the white feather flying elephant's trunk, and it crashed into Zhongzhu's body. At the moment of life and death, Zhongzhu activated his defensive Jiyu, and his whole body was covered in a layer of golden light. Puff! The golden light dispersed, and he vomited a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying far away. He saw stars and felt dizzy. He fell on the ground, unable to move. He could vaguely hear the sound of the elephant's feet, and it was getting louder and louder. His spine felt a chill, and his rich battle experience told him his life was in danger. He did not have time to think, and immediately rolled on the ground. By a hair's breadth, the white feather flying elephant missed him. Bam! With a loud sound, the white feather flying elephant fiercely crashed into the mountain wall, and its two tusks were deeply embedded into the mountain rocks. The flying elephant howled loudly, and shook its head with all its might while retreating with its four legs. Zhongzhu's blurry vision finally became clear, and he stood up shakily. Seeing this clear scene, he could not help but break out in cold sweat. If he had been slightly slower, he would have been smashed into pieces. He checked his aperture, and there was still 50% of his Primeval essence left. The defensive Jiyu was in a weakened state, and was on the verge of destruction. I need to quickly return to Mrs. side. He was extremely anxious. As a Jiyu master, he was in such danger. Miss and Xiao Dai were both mortals, and their lives were hanging by a thread. That white feather flying elephant was still pulling out its tusks, and Zhongzhu turned around and ran, chasing towards the location in his memory. When he reached the location, Zhongxin Ci had already disappeared. Zhongzhu was hesitating on which direction to go, when a Jiyu master ran over with 3 white feather flying elephants chasing after him. "Save me!" he shouted. "Damn it!" Zhongzhu cursed. He recognized this person as a young Jiyu master from Chen tribe, called Chen Xin. Zhongzhu was worried about Mrs. safety, and could not care about saving Chen Xin, and immediately ran. Chapter 252. Zhongzhu cursed loudly, but was still dragged into it in the end. After a thrilling chase of life and death, the two managed to shake off a flying elephant. Finally, they reached a cliff and were blocked by two flying elephants. The ground shook as the flying elephant charged over. "Lad, split up and run," Zhongzhu shouted, pouncing towards the left. "Oh my God!" Chen Xin shouted, but before he could move, the flying elephant charged over, smashing a huge hole in the cliff and stabbing its tusks into the mountain rocks. The two flying elephants were temporarily restrained. "Heaven is protecting me. I am not fated to die." Zhongzhu fiercely gasped for breath, lying limply on the ground. The cliff was shaking, and the two flying elephants were roaring furiously. They continuously shook their heads, causing rock fragments to fly everywhere, and the hole where the tusks were stabbed continued to expand. Zhongzhu was shocked. Knowing these two flying elephants would soon escape, he quickly propped up his body and tried to get up. He had just stood up when suddenly the sound of wind came, causing his body to shake. Swoosh! A white bone spear with spiral patterns pierced through his back to his chest, then the spear tip was firmly nailed to the ground. Fresh blood flowed down the bone spear, dripping onto the ground. Zhongzhu's movements turned sluggish, his mouth slightly opened, and fresh blood immediately flowed out from the corner of his mouth. He slowly lowered his head, seeing this fatal spiral bone spear. At first, he thought it was the white feather flying snow's tusks, but soon, he realized this was a GU master's attack. Who is it? He wanted to turn his head and see the culprit behind his back. But the next second, swoosh, another bone spear shot out. This spear directly pierced through the back of his head, and then came out from his mouth, the spear tip firmly fixed on the ground. Zhongzhu was firmly fixed, his eyes widening in vain, but his pupils had shrunk to a point. He was dead. He died with everlasting regret. In a hidden corner, Fang Yuan watched from afar. These days, he had already thoroughly understood Zhongzhu's background. This Zhongzhu was his obstacle, he had to be eliminated. The two white bone spears gradually disintegrated, turning into specks of white light and dissipating in the air. Without support, Zhongzhu fell to the ground. A white feather flying elephant pulled out its teeth and rushed towards Zhongzhu's corpse, stomping on it. She stomped them into meat paste and crushed their bones. The white feathers scattered, and the flying elephant rose from the ground and flew into the air again. Seeing this, Fang Yuan retracted his gaze. Zhongzhu was already dead. The flying elephant crushed the body, saving Fang Yuan the work of cleaning up the crime scene. He quietly retreated. Not long after he left, the other white-feathered flying elephant also flew away. Its tusks pierced through the mountain wall, leaving two bowl-sized holes. A large part of the mountain wall caved in, and rubble was scattered all around. Suddenly, the pile of rubble trembled and a head popped out. "Oh my God, you scared me to death. Thankfully, I had the Berry Earth GU and escaped from this calamity." Chen Xin crawled out of the ground, breathing roughly as he broke out in cold sweat, feeling lingering fear. This burial GU could allow a GU master to go underground and hide temporarily. The disadvantage was that once it was used, the GU master could only be buried in one place and could not move. Moreover, when activating it, the GU master needed to continuously use a large amount of Prime Val essence. Chen Xin was chased all along, and only at the last moment did he have the time to use it. The situation is getting more and more chaotic. A GU master actually tried to assassinate Zhongzhu. Looking at Zhongzhu's corpse, which had already been stomped into meat paste, Chen Xin swallowed his saliva and fled in panic. The elephant group wreaked havoc for over 2 hours before leaving. Zhongxin Ci and Xiao Dai supported each other as they walked out of the rainforest. Their bodies were covered in mud, looking battered and exhausted. Xiao Dai's face was even greenish-purple. Evidently she had bumped into something while running. Missy. She was scared out of her wits. Death was so close to her that her body trembled as she walked. Zhongxin Ci patted her hand, trying to comfort her. But in truth, her face was also deathly pale. Along the way, corpses were everywhere and blood flowed freely. Broken wheels, dead ostriches, black-skin fat beetles and winged snakes' corpses were strewn across the merchant road. As the survivors gradually gathered together, The sounds of moaning, wailing, and sobbing became one. As the leader of the caravan, Jiao Long's face was ashen. The casualties this time were too severe. The entire caravan had suffered severe losses, less than a tenth of them were completely crippled. After gathering the caravan, there were only over 100 people left. Most of them were Jiu masters, while a small portion were mortals. The strongest Jiao clan and Chen clan had suffered great losses, not to mention the other caravans. Lin clan only had 3 Jiu masters left, and some unfortunate clan caravans had even died. The rainforest was also dangerous. Many people did not die from the stampede of the white feather-flying elephants, but were instead greeted by the ferocious beasts and poisonous insects in the rainforest. Bai Yun, it is great to see you. Earlier in the rainforest, thank you for luring away a white feather-flying elephant for us. In the crowd, Shongxin Ci found Bai Ningbing and took the initiative to thank her. Fang Yuan was not at ease with Bai Ningbing and was worried she was colluding with Zhongzhu, thus he personally went to kill Zhongzhu. And Bai Ningbing was in charge of secretly following Shongxin Ci and protecting her life. This is nothing, I have always been repaying kindness. Lady Zhong, the one who saved you was not me, but your past good deeds. Bai Ningbing said. She was usually reticent, almost never speaking. If she spoke, she would purposely change her tone and lower her voice. Right now, she no longer concealed herself and spoke with a normal tone. Her tone was cold and her voice was clear, clearly a female's voice, causing Shongxin Ci and the servant girl to show a strange expression. Right, Bai Yun, have you seen Uncle Zhongzhu? Shongxin Ci asked with an anxious expression. I have searched everywhere but have not found him. Bai Ningbing sighed in her heart. Fang Yuan had already returned. She knew Zhongzhu was definitely dead. Lady, don't worry, Zhongzhu is a Jiu master with extraordinary skills. He might even be on the way back. She consoled. I hope so. Shongxin Ci's brows were tightly furrowed, the uneasiness in her heart increasing. On the other side, leader Jiao Long stood at a high place and shouted, everyone listen, the smell of blood here will soon attract other beast groups. We need to evacuate quickly. Everyone move quickly, bring as many goods as you can carry. Those that cannot be moved, you have to abandon them. We need to leave this place in 15 minutes. The danger was not over yet, everyone could only forcefully raise their spirits, suppressing the pain in their hearts as they busied themselves. Save me. Someone save me, my blood is still flowing. Bring me along, I only lost a leg, I can still walk. I beg you, I will give you Yuan stone as a reward. 2, 3, even 4 will do. The servants who were severely injured and couldn't move all let out pleading sounds. Very few people received help, these crippled people could not bring in manpower, instead they were burdens. Many people were heartlessly abandoned. Seeing the caravan leaving, many people went crazy and started cursing loudly. Some people crawled on the ground, trying to catch up to the caravan. Save me, Lady Zhong, you are the kindest and kindest. Lady Zhong, please have mercy. Shongxin Ci's footsteps were hesitant, her lips were trembling, her face was pale and her gaze was flustered. The mountain wind blew her green dress, her hair was disheveled, she was as weak as a grass in a storm. Lady Zhong, let's go. Now is not the time for you to be kind. Fang Yuan walked to her side, held her arm, and forcefully pulled her forward. Xiao Dai, who usually chattered like a sparrow, was now silent, her legs trembling as she hurried along. Believe me, everything will be fine. Fang Yuan's tone was gentle. Shang-Xin Ci covered her chest, constantly breathing deeply, as if the air was thin, making it hard for her to breathe. At first, she only breathed through her nose, but gradually, she opened her mouth, taking in large gulps of air. Her footsteps became more and more unsteady, her limbs became weaker. If not for Fang Yuan supporting her, she would have collapsed to the ground. The smell of blood assaulted her nose, her whole body was soaked in sweat, the mountain wind blew, making her shiver. After this shiver, Shang-Xin Ci's breathing gradually calmed down. After another 10 steps, she no longer breathed heavily. After 30 steps, she closed her mouth, her breathing was no longer heavy. After 50 steps, her footsteps became strong again, no longer needing Fang Yuan's support. The mountain road extended upwards, she walked up a slope, a gust of mountain wind blew, completely messing up her hair. She stretched out her hand, tidying it up as she walked. When she tidied up her hair, the confusion, fear, and worry in her eyes disappeared, only leaving behind a determined look. "Thank you," she said to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan nodded, letting go of her hand. Standing on the slope, she slowly stopped and looked behind her. "Do you know? This is the most difficult road I've walked since I was born." She sighed, her face was still pale, Fang Yuan extremely soft. Looking at Shang-Xin Ci with a profound gaze, into a smile. "Miss Zhong, this was Shang-Xin Ci. Why don't you go and save someone famous who have been abandoned? The southern border." These words were met with an angry glare from Xiao Shang-Xin Ci in a different light. Smiled bitterly. "For a mortal girl, if I could save them, I would definitely do it. After encountering such a tragedy, even if I tried my best, on this road there were incessant sounds of begging and crying. Fang Yuan These sounds were nothing to Fang and Bai, I admire about but to Shang-Xin Ci, irrational kindness is a crime. Interrogation. Although you are immortal, when Zhongzhu was missing, her greatest support had disappeared. On the road of life, there are many trials and tribulations. It was truly praiseworthy. Sometimes the road is very muddy. This road was an ordinary mountain road. You can feel but it was also a difficult and anxious mental road. Fang Yuan, Shang-Xin Ci gritted her teeth. She had already faintly guessed that Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were not mortals. As if in an instant, Fang Yuan's words just now confirmed this point. In her mind, she had unintentionally given some help to Fang and Bai. These could only be considered small favors, but she had won the recognition and appreciation of Fang and Bai. After that, Fang and Bai had repaid her several times. First, Feihu Mountain helped her, then they helped her earn money, and just now they saved her life. She was a weak girl who had been exiled by her family, and most of her goods had been lost. What was there for them to covet? Nothing. Under such circumstances, they still stood by her side. Just this action alone showed that although they were mysterious, their characters were pure and upright, and their hearts hid the truth, kindness, and beauty. It was his good fortune to run into them. Thinking of this, Shang-Xin Ci's heart could not help but ripple. She stared deeply at Fang Yuan and sincerely said, "Thank you." Although it was only 2 words, it revealed the deep gratitude in her heart. Bai Ningbing could not help but roll her eyes. If Shang-Xin Ci knew that almost all the disasters were single-handedly directed by Fang Yuan, what kind of attitude would she have then? Chapter 253. The casualty count is out. We have 137 people left, 78 GU masters and 59 mortals. A vice leader reported in front of everyone. At this moment, in this tattered tent, the surviving leaders of the caravan were gathered together, discussing their way out. The atmosphere was heavy and stifling. The caravan leader Jiao Long frowned deeply, his brows almost forming a knot when he heard this. A large caravan of over 1,000 people, to think that there were only so few people left. 78 GU masters sounded like a lot, but there were only 12 rank 3 GU masters here. There were 28 rank 2 GU masters, and the remaining 38 were rank 1 GU masters. In this number, one had to exclude the injured. In fact, those who still had battle strength left were less than half. Mortal lives were cheap, they could be abandoned as servants, but GU masters were different. Every GU master was a precious treasure of the clan, they could not be abandoned. Jiolong knew that these injured GU masters were a huge burden to the caravan. In order to maintain their lives and heal their injuries, the caravan's already crumbling logistics would definitely worsen. But Jiolong did not dare to abandon them. Once he did, the morale would completely collapse, the GU masters would be in danger, and the entire caravan would collapse. Their final outcome would be to be devoured by beast groups. At this moment, the vice leader changed the topic. The only thing worth rejoicing over is that the caravan still has a lot of goods left. If we evenly distribute those ownerless goods, we will have a large amount of yuan stone. It can make up for our losses. In the disaster earlier, many people died, but the goods were not damaged. If they were evenly distributed, the survivors would instead benefit from it. Hearing this, the eyes of almost everyone in the tent lit up. Merchants pursued profits, even if they were in danger. This did not change their nature. Everyone looked at each other for a while, before Vice Leader Chen Shuangjin coughed, evenly distributing, I feel it is not appropriate. In the battle earlier, my Chen clan sacrificed the most. We also killed the most white feather-flying elephants. I want at least 30% of these ownerless goods. 30%? How can that be? Your Chen clan sacrificed a lot. My Yuchi clan sacrificed a rank 2 peak stage young genius. No matter what, our Ji clan wants at least 20%. Everyone started to argue, gradually starting to argue. In front of benefits, there was no one who wouldn't be envious. Shongshin Ci was the only one who remained silent among them. Powerful teams would want more. The weaker party insisted on an equal distribution. The quarrel grew louder and louder. It spread out of the tent and attracted countless inquisitive gazes. Shongshin Ci suddenly stood up. The tent suddenly fell silent. Everyone. Shongshin Ci's beautiful eyes swept around. The most important thing now is not these goods, but how to survive. Perhaps the horde of beasts would arrive in the next moment. We are already grasshoppers on the same rope, chained together by fate. However, the strength of each of us is limited. Only by working together can we have a chance of survival. She paused for a moment. I propose that we first contribute our goods and take out the items that are helpful to us. Here, on behalf of the Zhong clan, I will set an example. I am willing to give up all the goods in my hands for free. What? Free contribution? For a moment, many people were stunned. Chen Shuangjin, Jiolong, and the others' faces also changed. I'm tired. I hope that everyone can discuss an effective method as soon as possible. Goodbye. Shongshin Ci nodded and turned to open the curtain. She walked less than 5 steps out of the tent when an even louder sound erupted. Now with the addition of the Zhong clan's goods, the benefits were even greater, making people even crazier. Shongshin Ci slowed down her steps, clenched her fists, and sighed deeply. She was also a businesswoman. Naturally, she pursued profits. The so-called voluntary contribution just now was of course not from her heart. It was just that the current situation forced her. She was like a baby carrying a large sum of money. Walking beside an adult, she had to protect herself. Returning to her own tent, Xiao Dai's eyes were red. She was curled up in a corner, crying. She and Shongshin Ci had lived together since they were young. The shock that the white feather-flying elephant brought to her was only now bursting out. Xiao Dai. Shongshin Ci sighed inwardly and sat beside her to comfort her. Miss, I'm scared. Woo-woo. Lord Zhongzhu still hasn't come back. It can't be, it can't be. Xiao Dai plunged into Shongshin Ci's arms, crying bitterly. Shongshin Ci patted her back and comforted her, but Xiao Dai still cried. Xiao Dai, Uncle Zhongzhu may never come back. Shongshin Ci said in a low voice. When she said this, she clearly felt Xiao Dai's body tremble in her arms. Miss, it can't be, it can't be. Xiao Dai looked up, her eyes red, and kept shaking her head. Accept this fact, Xiao Dai. Shongshin Ci suddenly shouted, we can only rely on ourselves now. Don't cry, you can't cry. Crying won't solve any problems. Rely on ourselves. But we are all mortals. If it wasn't for Lord Zhongzhu, we wouldn't have been able to complete this journey. Xiao Dai's eyes were brimming with tears, her mood very low. That's right. If it wasn't for Uncle Zhongzhu, those people wouldn't have let me become one of the vice leaders. Xiao Dai, you're right. We are mortals. But mortals also have mortal strength. Shongshin Ci's eyes flashed with a resolute light. She stared at Xiao Dai with a burning gaze. She grabbed Xiao Dai's arm and shook it. Xiao Dai, do you believe me? Xiao Dai looked at Shang Xin Ci in front of her and felt an inexplicable power. This power came from Shang Xin Ci and then spread to her body, infecting her heart, making her feel as if she was being illuminated by light. Miss. Xiao Dai's eyes flashed. She had never seen her miss like this. At this moment, she felt that her miss was unprecedentedly bright and beautiful. I believe you. She softly but firmly replied. Very good, Xiao Dai. Listen carefully, we're in danger. Sometimes people are more terrifying than beasts. Let's take all our savings and go find He Tu and Bai Yun together. Yes, miss, I'll listen to you. After the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. In the tent, Fang Yuan and Shang Xin Ci sat facing each other. Fang Yuan looked at the beauty in front of him with a playful expression. You just said that you have already given away our goods for free? Given them to those greedy hyenas? That's right, Shang Xin Ci admitted frankly. Fang Yuan's lips curled up, his gaze filled with admiration towards Shang Xin Ci. She was truly a smart person. She knew when to give up and when to give up. She had courage. With Zhongzhu dead, Shang Xin Ci was only a mortal. Even though she represented Zhong tribe, her status was not equal to the other vice leaders. It was simply too easy for these Jiyu masters to take Shang Xin Ci's goods. They could kill Shang Xin Ci and push the blame to the beast groups. At that time, no one could say anything. Zhong tribe would also not investigate a huge scale for a mere Shang Xin Ci. Thus, to Shang Xin Ci, these goods in her hands were extremely troublesome and could bring her calamity. Thus, she wisely gave up on this calamity and threw it to others, trying to ensure her own safety. But she also deeply understood that this safety was not reliable. Thus, she came here. I am here to apologize to you, He Tu, I am very sorry. Shang Xin Ci bowed towards Fang Yuan. You borrowed these goods, logically speaking, these goods should be yours. I have overstepped my boundaries this time. I was extremely rash and rude. To express my apologies, please accept these. Shang Xin Ci brought 2 wooden chests this time. Without opening them, Fang Yuan knew that these chests were filled with yuan stone. A large portion was earned by himself. He gave the other party a 50-50 split. Fang Yuan could not help but look at Shang Xin Ci. The two's gazes met in mid-air, gradually forming a tacit understanding. Both of them were smart people, many words did not need to be said. In Shang Xin Ci's understanding, Fang Yuan was purposely hiding his identity. It was very likely that he was a Jiyu master. According to his various actions during their interactions, Shang Xin Ci felt that Fang Yuan was a very reliable person. If there was anyone who could help her, Fang Yuan was undoubtedly the best choice. Because Shang Xin Ci trusted Fang Yuan very much. However, Shang Xin Ci also had her misgivings. Firstly, she did not know Fang Yuan's true strength. There was a huge difference between rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. Secondly, Fang Yuan definitely had his reasons for hiding his identity. He might not necessarily reveal his identity to help her. Without getting Fang Yuan's promise, Shang Xin Ci donated the goods. After ensuring her safety, she brought all her savings to find Fang Yuan. She said that she was here to apologize, but in truth, she was implicitly inviting Fang Yuan, hoping for his help. She knew that Fang Yuan was the same type of person as her. This was a tacit understanding between smart people. The two looked at each other for a long time. Fang Yuan smiled and broke the silence. These yuan stone, please take them back. Shang Xin Ci's expression changed slightly, her heart sinking. In her understanding, Fang Yuan rejecting these yuan stone was no doubt refusing to help her. But what could she do about this? Speaking of which, Fang Yuan had already repaid her a lot. There were very few people in the world who could do this. Shang Xin Ci could not ask for anything. But if He Tu did not help her, who else could it be? Bai Yun. No, the two of them had a close relationship, they would naturally help each other. Shang Xin Ci could not think of anyone else. A bitter smile appeared on her beautiful face. I understand. But these yuan stone, just take it as me giving He Tu a gift. A man's wealth is his own ruin. If you don't accept it, I'm afraid I will have to give it away. Fang Yuan laughed. Miss Zhong, I think your understanding is a little wrong. When we first joined the caravan, Bai Yun and I were seriously injured, our lives hanging by a thread. Our strength was at its lowest, but we were coveted by some strong slaves. When a tiger leaves its mountain, it will be bullied by dogs. It was you who protected us and gave us the opportunity to recuperate. It is not an exaggeration to say that this kindness is a life-saving grace. And I am a person who will repay kindness and take revenge for enmity. Although you are a mortal, I approve of you, and even admire you. It is fate that we met in this vast sea of people. A drop of water should be repaid with a spring of water, let alone a life-saving grace. Take Yuan Stone back, I will do my best to protect you. Ah! Shongshin Ci heard this and could not help but exclaim softly. Her eyelashes trembled, her eyes reddened, and soon became misty. Chapter 254. How could the icing on the cake compare to providing timely help? Strong winds know the strength of the grass, a swaying board shows a person's heart. Fang Yuan saw Shang-Xin Ci's expression, but he was not pleased. What came next was the main point. He continued, "But there is one thing I need to tell you. Sir, please speak." Shang-Xin Ci stretched out her jade-like fingers and wiped the corner of her eyes, calming her mind. Bai Yun and I are demonic path members. These righteous GU masters usually appeared sanctimonious, nodded without any surprise. They had already shed all pretense of cordiality. Before this, Zhongzhu had also guessed this and told her to be on guard against Fang and Bai. Behind him, there were many other pairs was mentally prepared and naturally accepted this fact. I wonder why Lord Ou Fei is here. She did not have cultivation aptitude and was born as an illegitimate child. Her different life experiences made her mature early and had a deep understanding of this world's essence. Your family's GU master did not have a good choice right now. He must be dead. Fang Yuan's voice turned cold. You are just a weak girl. Demonic by relying on me have always been vicious and merciless. Little pitiful girl, and I you don't need to thank me. We both have murder cases on our hands. Come with me. Shang-Xin Ci subconsciously pursed her lips to pull her away. You need to believe me. Shang-Xin Ci's complexion was pale, to help you. But she was a young girl after all. When I feel I have repaid your kindness, I will leave quietly. This delicate and pitiful appearance made any connection with demonic path members. Miss, but before that, you can't go we with will him. Appear with the identity of Zhong Clan and stretched out her arms. I hope Lady Zhong can fulfill this identity for us. Fei was furious, Fang Yuan and with a slap, he slapped Shang-Xin Ci's eyes, revealed a trace of determination. To the ground. Sir He too, her cheeks instantly turned red and swollen. Sir may be a demonic dizzy from the slap, but you are an honest person with principles. Xiao Dai, Xin Ci is not pedantic. Quickly squatted down and helped her. Has many hypocritical and filthy people. Even being able to obtain Sir's protection is Xin Ci's fortune. Xiao Dai struggled to stand up, and Fang Yuan stared at her and looked at Shang-Xin Ci. Her gaze was filled with fear. I hope you don't regret it in the future. Lowly servant, if you was about to speak when a voice came from outside the tent. Ou Fei is joined to a rage out of humiliation. An arrogant male voice that was about to strike down. Suddenly, a large hand stretched out from the void. My lady is discussing important matters inside. Ou Fei stopped him, and when he took a closer look, he saw an ugly man dressed like a servant. Goods have already been donated. How audacious of you. What's there to discuss? Ou Fei's face twisted, full of anger. Lord GU Master, he wanted to retract his arm, Xiao Dai but Fang Yuan's hand was like followed by the sound of her being kicked to the ground, not moving an inch. Get lost, dog you servant. Lowly maid. You still dared to block my. Ou Fei was extremely angry. Shang-Xin Ci's killing intent eyes flashed, and he was about to mobilize his true Yuan. Just as she was about to get up and leave, suddenly smiled. Fang Yuan stopped her. His face was full of burn marks, suddenly pulled and open, he was also missing and a sinister-looking young GU master appeared in front of the two, revealing a gloomy and terrifying aura. The young GU master's gaze immediately landed on Shang-Xin Ci. Fang Yuan had already let go his desire and then greed. He lifted his leg and ruthlessly kicked Ou Fei for a long time. Bang. The corners of his mouth twitched, only felt a huge force coming at him, with an imposing manner of controlling the situation. An intense pain examined Shang and his whole body flew out like a broken sack. Shang-Xin Ci was dressed in a landing on the ground, looked like a delicate lotus 2 or 3 feet away. Such a beautiful figure was had long been engraved into the hearts of many shot out from the caravan. The people around the tent yearned for her day and night. He tried to pursue her several times, but was rejected by Shang-Xin Ci. He had wanted to use Ou Fei lying on the ground, because of Zhongzhu's existence, at all. He could only endure. The 2 girls were dumbfounded. Now that Zhong family's only GU master Zhongzhu was dead, Shang-Xin Ci was just a mortal. Such a beautiful woman, Ou Fei had long coveted her, and now he finally had such a good opportunity. Ou Fei's gaze was filled with desire and aggression, making Shang-Xin Ci's heart tighten, and even more sorrow arose in her heart. She had taken the initiative to abandon the goods, but she still could not obtain safety. Her appearance had become a source of disaster. Merchants always paid attention to amicability, and even when they were wronged, they still had to show a smiling face. Shang-Xin Siai's background was not good, and she had long learned to endure, and was used to living with her head lowered. Although there was once rank 3 Zhongzhu, he was a healing Jiyu master, and could not do anything alone. Many conflicts were resolved gently, like water, or like a warm sun melting snow. And this sudden kick from Fang Yuan was like a shocking thunderclap, like a precipitous cliff, without a trace of gentleness. It was forceful, overbearing, and ostentatious. The intense violence was far beyond the two girls' expectations. Yu Fei lay on the ground, staring blankly for a few breaths of time. Then the intense pain in his abdomen aroused his intense humiliation and resentment. He was kicked, and the person who kicked him was a servant. "Scoundrel, you actually dared to kick me. How dare you kick me? You lowly mortal, you are dead meat. I will tear you into 1,000 pieces." Yu Fei let out an angry roar, standing up from the ground. His face was flushed with anger, he gritted his teeth, and his eyes were filled with anger, like a wild beast that was about to devour someone. "Die!" He took a step forward, crazily rushing towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan took a steady step forward, raising his head and chest, blocking the two girls. Yu Fei got closer, and suddenly jumped up to 6 feet from the ground, before diving down towards Fang Yuan. "I will smash you into a meat patty," he shouted, stretching out his two palms. Under the effect of the Jiyu worm, his palms suddenly expanded by more than 3 times, bringing with it a fierce sound of wind and a fierce force, fiercely slamming towards Fang Yuan. If Fang Yuan was really a mortal, receiving this attack, he would definitely have his bones broken and flesh torn by Yu Fei's 2 palms, dying on the spot. However, he was not a mortal. Not only was he not a mortal, he was also a rank 2 upper stage Jiyu master. Not only was he a rank 2 upper stage Jiyu master, but he also had a rank 3 peak stage Snow Silver Primeval essence in his aperture. Ever since advancing to rank 2, Fang Yuan's aperture could hold some Snow Silver Primeval essence. Especially during this period of time when beast groups frequently attacked, Fang Yuan would store some Snow Silver Primeval essence, just in case. Thus, although Fang Yuan was a rank 2 upper stage Jiyu master, his battle strength was absolutely not like this. And this Yu Fei was only a rank 2 initial stage Jiyu master. Whoosh! A strong wind blew, messing up the two girls' hair. Looking at Yu Fei descending from the sky like a god, his 2 palms slamming down with great power, Xiao Dai's face turned deathly pale. Shang-Xin Siai's heart jumped, and she could not help but shout, "Careful!" Fang Yuan sneered, bending his index finger and lightly flicking. Spiral Bone Spear Jiyu. A spiral bone spear suddenly shot out, rushing towards the sky. What? Yu Fei was shocked, his mind was in chaos, and he quickly dodged. The bone spear pierced through his defense, piercing through his shoulder and getting stuck in his shoulder bone, causing blood to flow out. Intense pain came, and Yu Fei's momentum came to a halt, and he miserably fell to the ground. "You are actually a Jiyu master," he screamed, his voice filled with panic and astonishment. Fang Yuan did not pay attention to him, and directly rushed over, clenching his right fist and swinging his arm, smashing towards him. Yu Fei's vision darkened, and he could only see the fist shadow rapidly expanding in front of his eyes. "Damn it!" he cursed, and quickly activated his Jiyu worm, and subconsciously raised his palms to block in front of him. Bam! The strength of 2 boars and the strength of a crocodile burst out. The enormous strength directly caused Fang Yuan's iron fist to pierce through Yu Fei's palms, shattering his defense, and then ruthlessly smashed into his face. His nose broke in an instant, and his whole face caved in from the punch. He flew out, blood spurting out like crazy. When he fell on the ground like a broken sack, he was already dead. Fuck, murder. A Jiyu master was killed. The spectators were all shocked, some screamed, and some roared. Fang Yuan's whole body was shrouded in a layer of white armor. This was the canopy goose activation. Without this layer of defense, he could not display his strength to his heart's content. Jiyu, he is actually a Jiyu master. Xiao Dai's eyes were wide open. Shang-Xin Siai was also shocked speechless. She looked at Fang Yuan's back, and suddenly thought of what he had just said. Demonic path people have always been vicious and merciless, Bai Yun and I are no exception. Moreover, we have murder cases on our hands. Chapter 255. Murder. He really killed someone. What happened? What the hell is going on? Ou Fei's corpse was lying on the ground like a dead dog. How could it not attract attention? In a short period of time, the commotion here had already spread to the whole camp. More and more people were gathering here. Many people saw Ou Fei's corpse and could not help but exclaim, then began to inquire about what had happened. For a moment, the crime scene was surrounded by 3 layers of people, whispering and discussing. 2 people suddenly fought. It's amazing, he died in an instant. That person is the murderer. Someone carefully pointed at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan crossed his arms and raised his head, standing on the spot with an indifferent expression. He ignored the surrounding people's discussions, as if he did not see them. He is just a servant, how can he kill a GU master? Naturally, someone was suspicious. Of course he is not a servant, I saw him shoot out a white
Old
spear
man,
and kill
you
Ou
came at the
Fei
right
with one
time.
punch.
Your
His
strength
strength
dared
is
to be
amazing.
disrespectful
A
to
GU
my
master
family's
who
miss.
was watching
The
the
anger in
process
my
said,
heart
has not
a
yet
white
subsided.
spear.
Chen
Your
Shan
son
happened to
committed
hear
a crime
this and
because
his
you
heart
didn't
jumped.
discipline him
He
properly.
had accidentally
You are
witnessed
the main
scene
culprit.
of Fang Yuan
Hand over
killing
your life
Zhongzhu.
to me.
And the
As he
image of
spoke,
Fang
he
Yuan's
took a
spiral
step
bone
forward,
spear
and in the
deeply
blink of an
imprinted
eye,
in his mind.
he was about to hit
Thus,
Ou Yang
he was
Gong.
very sensitive
Ou
to the
Yang
words
Gong
white
was so
spear
angry
and
that
immediately
his beard
linked
was
it to the
crooked.
same thing.
What was
What's
Fang
going
Yuan
on?
saying?
What
kind
kind
of
of fallacious
here?
reasoning and
Jiao
heresy
Long's
was this?
unhappy voice
He was
came.
clearly the one who killed someone.
It's the leader
but
and
he was
deputy
actually
leader.
falsely accusing
The crowd
him as the
quickly
main
opened
culprit.
up a path.
He could no longer
Someone
suppress
died.
the anger in
Yes,
his heart
he
and
was
brazenly
killed.
counterattacked
Isn't this
towards
deputy
Fang
leader
Yuan.
Ou's youngest
With a
son?
boom,
The
the
deputy
deputy
leader
leader
saw
saw
this
this scene and
following the
discussed in a
muffled
low
sound.
voice.
The airwaves
As soon as he
surged.
finished speaking,
Fang
a
Yuan
miserable and
retreated
shrill
5 to
cry
6
suddenly
steps
resounded
before
in
stopping his
everyone's
retreating
ears.
momentum.
The white
my
light
son,
armor on
what
his
happened
body
to you?
flickered
What
weakly a
happened
few
to you?
times before
A
it lit
figure
up again.
rushed out and
The
ran
sky
to Ou
canopy
Fei's
GU
corpse,
in his
then
aperture
suddenly
had
stopped.
already withered. This
Ou
person was
Yang
Ou
Gong
Yang
was
Gong
sent
of
flying
Ou
like
clan,
a kite with a
short and
broken
thin
string.
with a hooked nose.
In the air,
he
vomited
vomited
a
a
mouthful
mouthful
of
of
blood
collapsed
and landed
his
on the
brain and
ground.
blood mixed together.
He barely
and flowed
managed
into
to
a
stand,
big pool,
but his face was
Obviously,
already as
his
white
life
as paper.
force was
Who
completely
was strong and
extinguished.
who was weak?
Ou Yang
It was
Gong
clear at a
stared at his
glance.
son's
How
corpse
can
as
this
tears
be?
rolled down his
This
cheeks.
ugly man clearly
My
has
son,
the aura
you
of a
died
rank
so
2
tragically.
GU master. Who was
Ou
it?
Yang Gong
Who
is
was
at a
so
disadvantage
deranged
as to
He
kill
is
my
old
son.
and weak.
I'm
His
going to
strength
tear
is
him to
lacking.
pieces.
Instead,
He fell into
that
a
person
frenzy
is
of
playing
rage
to his
and
strengths
roared at the
and
top of
avoiding
his
his
lungs.
weaknesses.
Everyone's
The deputy
gazes
leaders
unavoidably
quickly
landed
analyzed
on
the
Fang
situation.
Yuan. Fang
You are
Yuan
caught in
sneered
death.
and said slowly,
After suffering
"Of
this
course I
loss,
killed him."
Ou Yang
Are
Gong
you
reacted
blind?
and became
I've
even
been
more
standing
furious,
here for a long
wishing
time.
he could directly
Can't
chop
you
Fang
see
Yuan
me?
into 8
This
pieces.
answer was too
Earlier,
arrogant. He had
and
not
the crowd
expected
immediately
Fang Yuan
became
to take the
restless.
initiative to
Jiao
attack,
Long and the
was
other
also
leaders
not
couldn't
familiar
help
with
but
Fang
frown.
Yuan's information.
Fang Yuan's
In a moment
fearless
of
look
desperation,
made them feel that
he did not
something
have
was
time
wrong.
to think
In
and chose to
particular,
block the attack.
Fang Yuan was dressed
Kid,
in the
I will
clothes of a
let you know
house
the
servant,
difference between
which made
rank
it
2
even more
and rank
difficult for
3.
them to see
Ou
through him.
Yang Gong roared
Thus,
and pounced
they all
towards
chose to
Fang
watch
Yuan.
from the sidelines.
Fang Yuan was
You
not
are the
afraid.
murderer.
He raised the
Ou
sky
Yang
canopy
Gong's
GU
gaze was like
with
a
spiral
knife as
bone
he
spear
stared
in one
intently
hand
at
and a
Fang
black moon
Yuan.
GU in the other.
Even though he
and
was
jumping
furious,
grass under his
he did
feet,
not make
he
a
fought
move.
with Ou Yang
This
Gong.
made Fang Yuan
Everyone
a little
hurriedly
surprised,
retreated,
creating
creating
a
a
large
had died in
space.
front of him.
Ou Yang
But this
Gong
Ou
was
Yang
rank
Gong
3 initial
actually
stage,
restrained his
while
killing
Fang
intent
Yuan
and
was
did not
ranked
act
2
impulsively.
stage.
With a
In
small
fact,
realm and a
those
large
who were
realm
able to do
difference,
business
the difference in
outside were all
cultivation
blind.
could be said to
Ou
be
Yang
huge.
Gong had
But
lived
Fang
for so many
Yuan's
years
situation
and was used to
very
life and
special.
death in the business
In his
world.
body was the
As
snow
a clan
silver
elder,
primeval
he was
essence
able to
borrowed
stand
from
tall
Ning
in the
Bing,
Ou clan
and he
without
mostly used
falling.
rank 3 GU
However,
worms.
he did not want
His
to make a
overall
move,
battle strength
but
was
Fang
even
Yuan
higher
did.
than Ou Yang
To be
Gong's.
honest, Ou
In less
Fei's
than 5
appearance
rounds,
made Fang Yuan
Fang
very
Yuan
happy.
had the upper
He
hand.
wanted to kill the
This
chicken
scene
to
caused
warn the
everyone's
monkey
faces
and then
to
make a
turn
strong
pale.
appearance to
This,
intimidate the crowd.
What is going
However,
on?
just
a rank
one
3
Ou
GU
Fei
master
was not
is
enough.
actually being
If he
suppressed
could
by
add
a
this
rank
Ou
2
Yang
GU
Gong in
master
front of him,
this is too
haha,
absurd.
that would be perfect.
Thinking of
Everyone
this,
could not
Fang
believe
Yuan
it,
laughed
and many
sinisterly.
people were dumbstruck.
After another few rounds, Fang Yuan had completely gained the upper hand, firmly suppressing Ou Yang Gong. Only a few people saw through the trick. Although this ugly man has a rank 2 aura, his true cultivation is probably higher than this. Right, he definitely has a GU worm that can conceal his aura. We did not discover him when he disguised himself as a servant. This person's heart is sinister and ruthless, every move is aimed at Ouyang Yanggong's vital points. Ouyang Yanggong's situation is very bad. Ouyang Yanggong was complaining incessantly in his heart. He had thought he could win against Fang Yuan, but he had not expected Fang Yuan to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. No wonder he took the initiative to attack him without fear. His cultivation was not weaker than his. This was really too despicable, too shameless. After another few rounds, the battle situation was completely clear, and most people could see Ouyou Yanggong's terrible situation. Ouyou Yanggong's defeat is certain. If this goes on, he will be killed. Ouyou Yanggong was originally inferior to him, and he suffered a huge loss at the start. He will not be able to take revenge for his son's death. This ugly man has great strength and is fierce and ruthless. Where did he come from? I know this person. He is the servant who won against many bandit monkey kings in Feihu Mountain. Everyone discussed spiritedly, with worry, curiosity, fear, shock and other emotions. Both of you, please stop. There must be some misunderstanding. Seeing that Ouyou Yanggong was about to be killed by Fang Yuan, as the caravan leader, Jiolong could not bear it any longer and flew up, wanting to interfere in the battle. Ouyou Yanggong was already sweating profusely from Fang Yuan's attacks, his heart was pounding and his face was deathly pale. Hearing Jiolong's words, he was immediately overjoyed, seeing hope. He hurriedly withdrew and went over to Jiolong. Fang Yuan's eyes swept over quickly, knowing that he could not catch up, he laughed and stopped his charge. Brother Jiolong came at the right time, let's use the bone spear to kill her. When these words came out, everyone was stunned. So this ugly man and Jiolong knew each other? This was the first thought that came to everyone's mind. And he called him so intimately, it seemed like their relationship was not bad. This was the second thought. No, maybe he called him that on purpose to confuse everyone. This was the third thought that came to everyone's mind. As the saying goes, the onlooker sees clearly, while the onlooker is confused. The spectators did not get caught in the battle, so their thoughts were naturally sharp. Jiolong's heart was filled with doubts, because he did not say a word to Fang Yuan at all. Ouyou Yanggong was bewildered, he could not determine the true relationship between Jiolong and Fang Yuan, even though he also thought that Fang Yuan was probably bluffing. But what if it was true? If that was the case, then he would fall into a pincer attack from Fang Yuan and Jiolong. Ouyou Yanggong naturally did not dare to take the risk when it concerned his own life. He changed his direction and moved away from Fang Yuan and Jiolong, retreating towards the southeast direction. Let's talk nicely. To avoid arousing suspicion, Jiolong immediately stopped. Fang Yuan laughed and chased after him. Ouyou Yanggong immediately understood that he had fallen into Fang Yuan's trap, and was about to speak when someone from the crowd behind him suddenly attacked. Bai Ningbing suddenly attacked ruthlessly. In an instant, 3 spiral bone spears shot out. There is still one more person? Ouyou Yanggong was horrified, he had no time to turn his head and subconsciously activated his defensive GU. But his GU was already at the end of its tether, it blocked 2 spiral bone spears, and the third bone spear's tip directly pierced through the back of his head, exposing the front of his skull. Ouyou Yanggong was dead. His death caused everyone to turn pale with fright, and the crowd immediately went into an uproar. This was the caravan's vice leader, a rank 3 GU master. Ouyou Yanggong's death caused the leaders' and vice leaders' expressions to change as they felt an intense threat. Audacious maniac. He actually dared to kill the vice leader. Let's work together and capture them. Who dares to capture me? Bai Ningbing threw away her straw hat, her white hair fluttering in the wind. Her cold gaze swept through the crowd as Snow Silver Primeval essence overflowed. Ah, it's Snow Silver Primeval essence. She is actually rank 3 peak stage. In the caravan, only Jiolong was rank 3 upper stage, the rest of the leaders were either initial or middle stage. Everyone's momentum stopped. Come if you want to die, haha. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing stood side by side, the last trace of Snow Silver Primeval essence in his aperture was mobilized and played with in his hand. Oh my, what the? Another rank 3 peak stage. Everyone's hearts trembled as their momentum stopped. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing stared coldly at the crowd, the camp was deathly silent. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.